One day, a golden tree suddenly rooted itself in the earth, calling itself aerosol. No one knows what it is made of, but it covered the entire world and created a new one called labyrinth. People call it the God's game, but not everyone can join in. That's why the random box machine was invented. This young guy came from a filthy slum, just like countless others in the world. After a gang of thugs robbed him of his SSR item, Ryuki got drawn to this gacha machine too. After a gang of thugs robbed him of the SSR item that Ryuki had to use up all his luck to get on his last spin, he surprisingly pulled a unique UR item. Ryuki was stunned. He'd lived long enough to know there were items beyond SSR. Right now, Ryuki is in the space between reality and Irazu. The system is begging him to give it a name to complete the transfer and start accessing Labyrinth. Ryuki entered the name, finished registering. A blinding light flooded the space as if invading it. Now they're accessing Labyrinth. Welcome to the world of phantasm. Ryuki stood on a cliff, gazing at the majestic landscape before him. The wind blowing through his hair felt incredibly real. What he saw on the simulation screen was nothing compared to what he was seeing now. This is why everyone fights to get into Labyrinth, not that junk out there. A bunch of skeletons suddenly attacked Ryuki. Ryuki turned and ran, yelling at the system why it threw him in here without any newbie guide. A panel popped up with the monster's info, level 1 skeleton weak to physical damage. Ryuki read it while running. Where's the control panel, the status menu, anything? The system chuckled. Master, you're embarrassing yourself, don't be such a wimp. How could Ryuki stay calm when the system dropped him in a place without even a weapon to defend himself? If the transformation succeeded, Ryuki should be a player by now, but no, this system doesn't turn him into one. So basically, Ryuki is still just a regular guy. Levels, stats, skills, none of that Phantom World stuff applies to him. Ryuki was thunderstruck. What the hell is this crap? The system got mad at being cursed at it, floated around defending itself. I'm a labyrinth system on a whole different level from those others. If you want something, try spinning the gacha on the random box. The system opened Ryuki's attendance board, pulled a UR so he gets 100 spins. Logging into Phantom gave him 5 more total 106 spins. I'll use them all. In his panic, Ryuki didn't think twice. He didn't care what he got as long as it was something useful like a weapon. Ryuki grabbed something cylindrical. He assumed it was a spear and shouted at the skeletons, "Come on, you boneheads, I'll crush you all." It shattered. The skeleton swung and broke the stick in Ryuki's hand in one hit because it was just a toilet brush. The system saw Ryuki's dumbfounded face and laughed smugly. Surprised! Every spin Ryuki did turned out junk. He ran while cursing the lousy system. It didn't back down, shot back. Did you even pull that UR with luck like yours? I can't believe it. Ryuki pulled a wig and slapped it on the lead skeleton. It actually looks kinda cute. The system saw Ryuki freaking out about the skeletons chasing him, and casually said, instead of worrying about them, master, worry about what's ahead. Ryuki slipped and fell off a cliff. He scrambled up, but it was too late. The wig-wearing skeleton charged at him. One last random box dropped. Ryuki pulled out an R-grade short sword, blocking the skeleton, finally a real weapon. Ryuki charged in boldly. With the short sword in hand, he wasn't scared of those walking bones anymore. Ryuki stabbed, but missed the skeleton and got stabbed in the shoulder himself. Ryuki gritted his teeth through the pain, wondering why they were still so tough. Their HP should have been gone after 2 hits from the short sword. The system jumped in to explain, since Ryuki isn't protected by the labyrinth system, the combat and HP mechanics don't apply to him either. Why didn't you say that earlier? Ryuki clutched his wound. He'd accessed labyrinth through some backdoor miracle, but now he was at risk of dying pointlessly right at the start. 2 golden random boxes dropped at the same time. Ryuki's determination surged. He couldn't be the first main character to die stupidly at the beginning of the story. Ryuki swung his sword and hit a pin box. The skeleton split in half. He asked the system, confused, "Gotcha spins can give skills too, and this one doesn't even exist in the world of Phantom. A slashing skill that creates a flashy glow for show, but it's super powerful, so it's ranked S. Another SR skill is Sword Mastery, which auto-activates when using a sword in this dimension. This blind bag isn't limited by any system. In other words, with it, Ryuki can do just about anything." The wig-wearing skeleton got back up. Ryuki quickly swung his sword, using the skill to blow off its wig, then flipped his hand and slashed down, splitting the skeleton in 2. Since it doesn't exist in the labyrinth system, Ryuki can use any skill he has without following their rules or limits. With this, Aerosol's balance could be thrown off. Surprised I believed in you. Master, you're the one who pulled that UR, not some amateur. Just then, Ryuki looked at the SSR pot of Bintwin chicken stew. On his first day he pulled an SSR, even the system was impressed. The corners of Ryuki's mouth curled up. He couldn't hold back his excitement. What's there to think about? This was a miracle from the start, so another one wouldn't surprise him much. Ryuki reached for the random box. While the three remaining skeletons charged at him in his high, Ryuki swung his sword and sliced them all down for interrupting his moment. Every player aims for the top spot in Labyrinth. Ryuki, on the other hand, somehow hacked the system and is quietly taking down skeletons aiming for the top like everyone else. Today, Ryuki took out 7 skeletons and collected 5 magic stones. The experience gained turns into random box points, since Ryuki can't level up like in Labyrinth, so the point system replaces experience. Ryuki has a total of 150 random box points, 15 per skeleton. But more importantly, that SSR item over there, Ryuki still can't believe his eyes. If it's not miraculous, it wouldn't be SSR. Master, you should get used to it. Ryuki decided to hide the system for a bit so it would stop nagging and mocking him. Now he could focus his thoughts. As long as he uses this, he might even take on that rude gang with one eye closed. For now, Ryuki will keep his power hidden. He checked his skills. Both need 700 points to level up, and he's just 100 short. Grind all day without getting bored. From the forest, a group of skeletons approached. Ryuki excitedly swung his arms. Perfect timing, you bunch, come at me all at once. The key to farming is saving time. Boom. Every day in Phantom Zone, there's an explosion caused by Ryuki. This is the 3rd day. Ryuki finished his daily tasks. He just killed monsters, then spun gacha and got a few more spins. Time in Labyrinth passes 10 times faster than in real life, so in 7 hours he farmed 1,500 points. That's 1,500 points, enough for 10 spins, which is impressive during the newbie phase. Master, let's spin gacha already. The system kept tempting Ryuki to spin, but he decided to level up parry and sword mastery. What are you doing? Have you lost it? Why are you using random box points to level up skills like that? The system went nuts over Ryuki's actions. Sure, skills are important, but Ryuki cared more about one thing. What's the drop rate for each type? The system mechanically replied, N grade is 70%, R is 27%, SR is 2.7%, SSR is 0.3%. As soon as it finished, Ryuki opened his inventory full of N-grade crap and argued, So why are all my spins turning out this junk? Look at this trash. The system was stumped. Who said Ryuki pulled SR and SSR right on the first try? The system begged Ryuki for the points he earned, saying it liked points more than spins. But Ryuki refused, saying, Shut up, spins can be earned through quests, that's enough. The system knew it couldn't convince him, so it changed the subject, asking when he'd leave the forest and rejoin the community. Since this is the newbie area, the experience from monsters is super low. Ryuki wasn't in a hurry. He needed more weapons and his skill levels were still lagging. Ryuki was confident. He knew more about Phantom than anyone, so he'd use all the info he'd gathered to survive. This origin forest is the same. It's the best spot for early game hunting. Once he leaves, he can't come back since it's a one-way area. Ryuki has to milk this forest dry before moving on. Ryuki will test how far he can go out leveling with his stats and skills. Plus, he has SR insurance from the event, so no worries. On day 7, Ryuki got his usual login reward and an SR insurance for a week of logins. By now, the experience from grinding has stalled. Ryuki checked his skills. Both are at level 3, and that's the cap. No point pushing further. Ryuki wanted to figure out where to go next. But the system started acting up. Time to spin gacha. You finished the 1-week login event, let's do it. Ryuki gave in. In the end, it's all about his luck. With SR insurance, he hoped this time he wouldn't get crap again. There it is, a golden set from heaven, looks pretty badass. Ryuki's lips twitched. This was supposed to be a wish something's off. The wish is still way off as usual. The system said this time Ryuki got an SR-grade gunblade. As the name suggests, it's a weapon that combines a gun and a sword. The moment twist ability can enhance the sword's power or use it like a gun. Ryuki excitedly held it. This weapon could shake up the world if it got out. People would go crazy for it. Ryuki lightly swung the sword. An ancient tree in front of him was sliced like tofu. With the gunblade in hand, Ryuki felt on top of the world. With Ryuki's sword mastery skill, the gunblade's power is like giving a tiger wings. Things happened so easily that Ryuki subconsciously wondered what if he died here. Since he transformed his body, maybe in the real world he's still alive. The system answered, even if Master dies, you can respawn using the backup data in Irazu, but it'll hurt a bit enough to make you wish you were dead. as it said that the system's face looked like it was reading a horror story. But Ryuki wasn't scared. As long as he stays alive, he can handle the pain. Use the rest of the spins to exchange for gacha. I want to boost my power a little more. After a while of just spinning, Ryuki changed into an outfit that fit the environment better. A basic leather armor, safe and durable with some colors to make it look more like my master's style. About time. Hearing the system say that made Ryuki's ears itch. Who was it that threw me in like trash into a monster-filled area and skipped the newbie guide? The system felt it did nothing wrong. After all, this is just the newbie area, way better than an emergency login spot. Ryuki stopped arguing and ordered the system, from now on, record my virtual world conquest. For the documentary for the kids later. Got it. What do you want to name the file? Just call it From the Bottom I Rose Up. Hirazu creates labyrinths more detailed than the original games it stole data from. Data from mostly Retia's games. But most of Retia's games were rushed, so they have a lot of bugs. Even here, games that are supposed to be better still have risks like a tough boss showing up right at the start. Ryuki faced the mighty Black Knight 10 times his size, radiating intense killing intent with sharp eyes like swords. Ryuki got in sudden quest. The reward is 10 gacha spins and an insurance. Ryuki gripped the gun blade, taking the chance to test his new toy. The Black Knight raised its sword. I am the Knight of the Demon King. At the end of the void, I await the strong. Show me your strength. Its sword thrust down with terrifying force and weight. Ryuki blocked it and used parry to fling the Black Knight's arm away. As expected, parry wiped out any power gap or level difference. Take this. Ryuki held his sword and slashed at one of the Black Knight's legs. The clash of metal rang out, but the attack did nothing. Ryuki backed off. He thought since he wasn't affected by the system, his attacks would work. Master, you're smart. As you guessed, you can ignore all of Phantom's traps. Ryuki struggled to block. Then how come I still can't hit the Black Knight? The system sighed heavily. Master, are you being dense again? Think realistically. Hitting steel armor with a sword is like a bull charging a truck. Ryuki got it. His strategy was all about the system and ignored reality. Labyrinth is a world simulated from a game. Normal players are influenced by the system, but you're different. Ryuki blocked another hit and retreated, then charged in, aiming for the Black Knight's weak spot. Ryuki dodged the massive sword and closed in on it. He pulled the trigger, causing a big explosion that blew off the sword-wielding arm of the Black Knight. It clutched its shoulder, staggering and roaring. The HP system isn't that important in this setup. This means Ryuki can deal more damage than HP allows. He can attack its physical body directly. If he hits the weak points accurately, he can not only deal massive damage, but take it down in one shot. Master, watch out! Ryuki was too excited and forgot why the Black Knight is called a boss. Something pierced his shoulder, snapping him back. Ryuki didn't expect the knight to go for ranged attacks. From the Black Knight's arm, a barrage of black swords shot out. You who threaten the gods, taste the void. The Black Knight unleashed a volley of black swords at Ryuki. He dodged while complaining, damn, no wonder the Black Knight is a boss. It's a mid-game boss, so taking it down with basic gear is almost impossible. Plus, this is a one-way area, so if he respawns elsewhere, Ryuki can't come back here. Even if he grinds to level up, there's no way back to beat the Black Knight. This is his second round with it, and no one survived. Ryuki struggled and finally collapsed as the black swords pierced his body. Suddenly, Ryuki grabbed the sword impaled in his stomach and stopped it, making the Black Knight panic. Where did you get that power? But whatever the power, the Black Knight follows the Demon King's orders. It used its remaining arm to slash the sword in its hand. Ryuki wondered, is this how it all ends? If so, his life so far has been nothing but trash. He swore he'd take back everything he lost. What they did to him and his mom. Ryuki surged up, slashing the black sword. He ignored everything, piercing him, and grabbed the Black Knight's head, jamming the sword into its eye. Ryuki will clear out all the trash and leave none. A massive explosion went off with the Black Knight's limbs flying everywhere. Ryuki received the loot from completing the emergency quest. With the Black Knight of the Void defeated, you're invited to proceed. Those were the Black Knight's last words. But even without that, Ryuki had no other choice but to move forward. That footage was just uploaded online courtesy of the system. A guy who just watched it, his subordinate asked if he should contact Ryuki. No need, I know him. Instead, get the car ready. Where's Linfan now? This man is Gabriel Darius, leader of the Linzia Guild. On GG YouTube, there's a video hitting the top trends of the day, uploaded by the account VU 7.01 and 7, titled, "From the Bottom I Rose Up." Everyone watching Ryuki's video is going wild. No one believes he could show up in that area, but the Black Knight looks so real no one thinks it's fake. Soloing a buffed monster during the newbie guide. Just hearing it sounds like total BS. Viewers can't tell if it's in Phantom or not, when Ryuki only used parry and the gunblade. No matter how many times they rewatch Ryuki's chaotic video of smashing the Black Knight leaves viewers baffled, when he dealt massive damage right after entering the game with no cooldowns. Iraiso followers see Ryuki as nothing but a blatant hacker. Even with good speed and reflexes, it's still hacking. Ragna, a second-year analyst in the Linzia Guild, is obsessing over Ryuki's video. She's always proud of her expertise, but this video is beyond her control. Ryuki wiped out a boss's HP in one hit. Ragna has no other guess but a glitch. Linzia is a major guild. Ragna feels they should officially contact Ryuki, but her boss is clutching his mouth in confusion. No, impossible. That face is unmistakable. A nobody owning an account? There must be some mistake. Elsewhere, Linfan is wasted hanging with two girls. He glanced around. Ryuki, he's a Linzia analyst from 3 years ago, the one who created that legendary strategy, right? Gabriel sought out Linfan because he ordered Ryuki's removal from Linzia, and now he's a nobody. Linfan chugged another bottle. In his eyes, he gets rid of any analyst he hates so many that Linfan can't even remember who. But today, Linfan watched Ryuki's video of soloing the Black Knight. He just thought it was hacking to beat the weakest boss. Nothing surprising. Gabriel had to remind Linfan he was the one who got rid of Ryuki. He was the one who got rid of Ryuki. Does Linfan even get what that means? How the hell would I know? Since when do we care about petty crap like this? Wasting time on a nobody like him for what? Faced with Linfan's aggressive attitude, Gabriel quietly left. He felt Ryuki was subtly attacking Linzia, so he ordered his subordinates to monitor Ryuki's every move. From now on, watch his next actions. It feels like a trap, better be careful. Gabriel walked away deep in thought, telling himself not to rush. He could gather more info before acting. Anyway, that idiot brother Linfan Gabriel just hopes he doesn't do something stupid right now. Meanwhile, Ryuki finally moved once his body recovered to 87%. All his organs and muscles were torn with severe injuries. The pain Ryuki felt was just like in the real world, so the system was worried about his mental state. Ryuki was in agony, but he was sure he'd get used to it soon. After all, he'd have to go through this hundreds of thousands more times. Ryuki returned to the cliff as he headed to the newbie valley, but now it's time to say goodbye. This game world is designed around the Demon King's castle. But Ryuki can't just run straight there. First, he has to clear all the dungeons around the castle to prove himself. Meanwhile, the system was guessing, why did Ryuki upload that video? Is he calling for people to come kill him? Ryuki knew it was dangerous, but he believed those outsiders wouldn't do anything foolish yet. They might just think it's a game glitch. Besides, finding glitches in games isn't common, even if they want to act. The first step is gathering info, since Linzia definitely recognized Ryuki and his deep grudge. At first, they'll think it's a trap. Unlike Linfan, Gabriel is extremely cautious. The system finally figured out Ryuki wanted to stir up public confusion first. The more attention he gets, the fewer options they have. If what the system said about the transfer is true, Ryuki can hide his real body in Labyrinth. This is how he's squeezing the Euler system's features. For a long time, Ryuki has thought of a way to beat Linfan. Now he just needs to lure him out. Once he becomes a thorn in Linfan's side, he'll come on his own. So next, Ryuki will keep mentioning Linfan. The moment he shows up is when Ryuki crushes him. Seeing Ryuki's tense face, the system asked for a gacha spin to lighten the mood. Ryuki has accumulated a huge number of points, 20 spins and 2 SR insurances, and 15,000 points. Let's spin away. Gotcha, gotcha. Ryuki sighed. First, he has to head to the village to keep his body safe. Ryuki has to exit Labyrinth. Every 10 days, the system reminds him that his body and avatar use completely different tech. The avatar can affect the real body if it's in the real world. But the transfer method brought Ryuki's real body here, so those worries are unnecessary. Now Ryuki realizes this is his actual body, not an avatar. However, the system had to halt the transfer due to the emergency. It encourages Ryuki to return to reality at least once. Anyway, forget about that. The Gacha God is calling you. But no, Ryuki decided to finish the transfer. The Phantom Forest space disappeared, and he returned to the real-world gacha shop. Ryuki's body had no scars, only his phantom clothes were gone. Now you see the greatness of the system. We haven't yet. There are some illegal cameras in here. Should I block them? Ryuki didn't know about any cameras when the gang from before showed up again. Seems like they were waiting at the gacha shop. Where have you been hiding for the past few days? Hey, nobody, you look pretty healthy. Where have you been hiding for the past few days? Turns out they planted hidden cameras in the gacha shop, just waiting for Ryuki to show up. The boss hadn't finished when his guys yelled, "Boss, he's bolting." The system yelled, "Master, why are you running? Are you blind? How can I take on 10 guys at once?" The system nodded. It would find the safest route for Ryuki. Following the system's guidance, Ryuki finally reached a dead end. Damn it, I was stupid to trust you. Ryuki wanted to punch through the system, but it said it had a reason. Right then, the thugs arrived. The boss was panting, "Enough with the cat and mouse game. You're a pain. You vanished out of nowhere yesterday, making me curious about what you pulled." This time, the boss seemed smarter. He held out his hand to Ryuki. Ryuki didn't know what to do. He ordered the system to transfer, but the system didn't do it right away. It said there's a wooden sword nearby. Unfortunately, Master doesn't have any special items that can be used in reality right now, so I led you to the closest place with a sword. Use it now. Ryuki picked up the wooden stick. Crap, this isn't even a sword. Suddenly, electricity sparked through Ryuki and the wood. It felt like they connected. "Hey, what are you doing with that dry stick? You guys get him." A guy in a leather jacket charged with an iron bar. He was mumbling when his bar flew out of his hand. The second guy took a massive hit that deformed his face. Then he was flung back. The boss didn't expect Ryuki to suddenly get so strong. He sent all his guys in, but Ryuki was grinning. Why worry when this isn't Labyrinth? With the 2 skills Ryuki has, using them in reality is like cheating. Now step aside so I can swing. His guys hesitated to move. Is he really a nobody? Did the boss lose his cool and pick a fight with someone dangerous? The boss yelled furiously from behind, "You idiots scared of a nobody!" No matter how strong, that's all he's got. "Kill him for me!" The boss was determined. He couldn't let Ryuki go. A nobody daring to challenge him meant Ryuki had something terrifying. The Black Serpent boss felt he was the top dog here. How could he compare to a nobody like Ryuki? Ugh, the groans of pain brought him back. His face darkened, seeing what was in front of him. His guys were getting beaten to a pulp by Ryuki. Even the bald one was grabbed by the hair brutally. "Don't get cocky over that, you thugs." The moment Ryuki gripped the wooden sword, he felt like he could use the skill power rushing in like a flood. This is different from normal players. Since Ryuki transferred to his real body, not an avatar if he's stronger in Labyrinth, he is in reality too. Ryuki slowly advanced toward the rest. Yesterday they jumped his SR item and all of them had laid hands on him. "Screw you, die, you bastard!" The group fearfully charged desperately. Cracking sounds echoed as Ryuki broke even their fingers. "You're the leader, right?" Ryuki approached the boss. Right then he was fumbling for the iron bar on the ground. He swung the iron bar wildly. "Don't come any closer, you loser, stay right there." Whoosh! Ryuki's move sent the boss's iron bar flying. He stepped toward the boss. Maybe it was time to end this. No one's left to shield him. "Shut up!" The boss charged again for the bar. But Ryuki stabbed the wooden sword through his arm. He screamed in pain, his body shaking. "Is that it, the end?" "Quiet, I'm Ruga of the Black Serpents, so what?" Ryuki delivered a home run swing right into Ruga's yelling mouth. Ruga collapsed at Ryuki's feet. What an interesting power. Ryuki wondered if he felt the same when he pinned Ryuki down. Ruga's smug face was smashed. "Serves you right." He pursed his lips and stopped. "Please, but he doesn't deserve that." The account Ruga took from Ryuki was his only hope. So now Ryuki will take away his only hope. Ruga teared up, but stayed defiant. "A nobody dares touch a syndicate member. Think you can get away." "What's there to fear?" Ryuki's smile made Ruga's blood run cold. "Exactly, just make sure he can't say another word." "Help save me." Those were Ruga's last words. Then his face was slashed by Ryuki's wooden sword like he wanted to split it in half. The next morning, Ryuki returned to his rundown house. The system asked curiously, why didn't Ryuki just kill those thugs? The chance of them seeking revenge is high. Ryuki could kill them easily, but he didn't want to stoop to their level. He already showed the power difference clearly, so they'll stay quiet for a while. I get it. Fear of violence is humanity's weakness. Ryuki guessed the system was planning something with the thugs. Turns out it interfered with their internal devices, their implants, and altered some of their visual info. Can you do that? Ryuki was surprised. But the system said no because manipulation only works when the mental state is unstable. But they definitely saw Ryuki as a terrifying monster, completely different from what they'd seen before. Ryuki was like an entity so scary they wouldn't even think of fighting back. Ryuki jumped up, thinking of ways to keep the system's existence completely secret, or the world would turn upside down. Then he picked up a knife. Instantly, sword mastery activated. Seems like as long as he holds something recognized as a sword, the related movements become instinct for Ryuki. Ryuki swung the dagger, feeling it was decent. Longer weapons can be inconvenient to carry. Ryuki was about to ask something when the system said, "Since Ryuki is in existence outside Iriso, even though this is your real body, it won't have side effects like rapid aging from labyrinth time." "Just as expected," Ryuki said, satisfied. Then he had a meeting at a cafe with a familiar-looking young man. Modern tech. Modern tech is awesome. You've recovered this much in just a few hours. Yes. Ruga sat across, bandaged up, answering. But inside he was fuming that a nobody like Ryuki was bossing him around. Ryuki seemed to read his thoughts, holding up the knife. "I think the medical bills were paid with the money from my account, right?" Ruga jumped, promising to return Ryuki's money immediately if he had time. "Shut up." Ryuki lightly stabbed the knife into Ruga's forehead, freezing him. Blood from the stab mixed with his sweat. "You're only spared because I thought twice. Never forget that." Ruga obeyed like a robot. Then he led Ryuki to the place as ordered. On the way, several junkies were sprawled out on the street. Ruga led and kicked them repeatedly. "You filth, get out of here." Ryuki was led to Yorozuya Shutenko, where most illegal human deals happen. There, Ryuki opened the door and entered. Turns out this is where Ruga sold his account. "Oh, we have a guest." "Oh, we have a guest!" A mature man's voice rang out. But the one who appeared was a boy, making Ryuki cautious. "I'm the owner, Sutenu, named Suzuki. What are you looking for?" 72017. The system is analyzing Ryuki's basic info in real time, and noting that Suzuki's body isn't human. Isn't full body simulation banned? Suzuki knew he was caught and smiled. "This is an expensive model, you're sharp. But it's funny for a smuggler to talk about the law." Suzuki changed the subject, asking why Ryuki was here. While bringing Ruga along, Ryuki got straight to the point. "What happened to my account?" Suzuki glanced at the nervous Ruga behind. "Ah, I see. Accounts are common items, the price is just the buying price. But Suzuki sold them all long ago and doesn't have any left. But today Ryuki is here mainly to deal. But I don't know if Suzuki can handle this product. Sutenku handles everything, even human lives. I'm excited to see what it is." Suzuki eagerly opened the black bag. His face suddenly froze like a statue. "What the hell is this? A bunch of golden beads inside. Those are magic stones." Suzuki suspiciously asked Ryuki, "You don't know the value of these stones?" Of course Ryuki knows. These are the most basic, simplest items in Labyrinth. There are two main types. Normal items are things that can't be used in the real world, and special items that can be used in the real world. Magic stones are special items extracted into EG, the main energy source in the modern world. The higher the grade, the purer the EG extracted. That's why players' status keeps rising. That's also why Suzuki is confused. Ryuki would benefit more selling magic stones through legal channels instead of to him. "I want to sell it discreetly since I got it directly." Ryuki's answer shocked Suzuki. "Because nobody could get magic stones?" Suddenly, Suzuki ordered Ruga to leave, leaving him confused. While Ruga was fumbling, Ryuki whispered something. Then he was thrown out without a second thought. At first, Suzuki thought Ryuki was just some lucky nobody who stole a few magic stones. Stuff like that is common for a nobody. But lately, there's been someone beyond the norm. "What do you mean?" Ryuki asked, confused. Turns out Suzuki was referring to Ryuki's recent viral video. He didn't expect the main character to show up at his shop. "Just to confirm, welcome Rio 7.017. If you're trying to hide your identity, you're not being careful. Especially with magic stones like this. That's the Black Knight's Charles Magic Stone. In the Phantom world, through this, Suzuki could easily guess Ryuki is the only one who beat that thing in the guide area, thanks to hacking the game. Anyway, Suzuki asked to be sure, just to see what Ryuki's got. He thought Ryuki would panic about his identity being exposed, but he just shrugged and smiled. "Yeah, I'm Ryuki 7.017. Thanks for the tip, but I'm here to buy stuff. Let's get to business." Suzuki laughed, wondering what Ryuki wanted from a smuggler like him. "Moss, do you sell it?" Hearing that Suzuki was the one surprised, enough to ask if Ryuki was high. Ryuki knows what Moss is right. They're apps that artificially alter labyrinth components. Even a nobody knows that, but Suzuki thought Ryuki was wrong. Most Moss are discarded because they lack functionality and have deadly flaws. Even so, as a smuggler, you still have a few items hidden away, right? Ryuki wasn't shaken by Suzuki's words. His goal was to lower the difficulty of the labyrinth. Ryuki could handle some of the moss side effects. Suzuki reminded Ryuki about that junkie near the shop, that guy who used moss. He bought the pellets and said he wanted to experiment with controlling his senses. Through that, he reduced his pain sensation, but the outcome was tragic. In exchange for feeling less pain, his other senses became extremely sensitive, and so he completely broke down. Suzuki's shop tried to get rid of those mods, but it was too late. It's like living worse than death. People going missing, sudden deaths, mental breakdowns, or unexplained fires all stem from it. You should give it up. It's stuff that the authorities banned from development and completely discarded. Suzuki advised Ryuki like that, even though a few mods are certified safe. But those can be obtained normally without smuggling. Ryuki suddenly interrupted, "You feel Suzuki's evaluation of side items and understanding of people still needs more work. Do I look like a regular player to you?" Ryuki was extremely confident, as he was the one who single-handedly defeated the Black Knight. People started calling him the shameless hacker. But whether Ryuki is a genius cheater or a lowlife using anything he can, he doesn't give a damn. Ryuki doesn't care about the methods or ways. He'll use them instead of letting them rot here unused. Suzuki wasn't sure, but Ryuki's question made him waver. "Aren't you curious about what could happen, Mr. Smuggler?" So Suzuki showed Ryuki the goods. When most of the mods were eliminated, he kept a few at the last minute. "If you can really use these mods, try one of them first." Ryuki called up his system to check, and the first mod triples damage. But the system deemed it junk. It just triples the numbers without any real effect. The next one predicts the future in 1 second. Sounds good, but fails in practice. It even obstructs Ryuki's vision in battle. The next mod makes all characters look beautiful. This could be due to the same principle as visual distortion. But what's the point of using it when everyone looks good anyway? The mod that increases all abilities by 1.2 times puts too much strain on the brain and body. Plus, the multiplier is poor quality. The next one triples sensitivity in all senses. But pain is affected the most. After a while, Ryuki scratched his head in frustration. They're all junk. He thought they were just subpar to some degree, but he didn't expect them to be this worthless. Finally, the probability control mod. The system had to admit the creator is a genius. It controls the probability of events to favor the player. All probabilities in Iris will be more favorable by 0.3 to 0.5%. Moreover, since Ryuki isn't affected by the avatar's performance drop, that number could even reach 1%. It might be hard to feel the difference with just a 1% advantage. But if that affects the fandom boxes, it's a different story. Ryuki decided to take 3 mods, mostly to increase the success rate of fandom boxes. This disappointed the system. "I can't believe you're ignoring the true feeling of gacha. That's betting your whole fortune on low probabilities." Suzuki saw that Ryuki wasn't just talking. He really picked the best mods from that pile of junk. Ryuki frowned. "Is this guy trying to rip me off?" Suzuki waved his hand. "Wait, I didn't mean to trick you. I was ordered to check all customers when they request mods." Ryuki was a bit surprised that Suzuki was working under someone's orders. Does he have connections with the mod creators? But Suzuki couldn't answer that question. So he compensated Ryuki with a special price. As long as Ryuki makes good use of these mods that vanished from the spotlight and never got a chance on the main stage. A series of external apps are installed when Ryuki uses the mod, and they're only effective once and can't be undone. Before Ryuki agreed, Suzuki wanted to ask him one last thing. If you really master using these mods, what will you do with that power? It's really an interesting question that made Ryuki laugh. And whatever Ryuki said after that made Suzuki burst out laughing like a maniac. Top levels, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and even diamond. Crush all that worthless junk and stand at the top of the world. That's exactly what Ryuki said. No wonder Suzuki found him so interesting. He even allowed Ryuki to visit him anytime. The next day, Ryuki arrived at the labyrinth smoothly. Beyond the system's expectations, but in the labyrinth, everyone is anonymous. So no one suspects Ryuki's identity. More importantly, Ryuki might have reached that village. It looks like a medieval fantasy world. It's even a bit peaceful. The system once released kept rambling about gacha. It gave Ryuki a headache. Hold back a bit, you gacha addict. Do you think I can gacha in a crowded place like this? For some reason, since Ryuki stepped in, the villagers started looking at him differently. The system wondered what they did wrong to make the NPCs dislike them so much. Ryuki understood why they acted that way because NPCs hate players. Idiots treat them like insects and excuse it by saying they're not real. They do all sorts of terrible things, so naturally NPCs don't like them. Got you, you thief! A young man suddenly got thrown in front of Ryuki. He begged the shop owner because he was about to starve to death, but the owner dragged him away brutally. Ryuki sighed. He thought this place was a bit peaceful earlier, but now everything's turned upside down. But Ryuki noticed the young man's clothes looked different from the other villagers' NPCs. Turns out he's a citizen from Space Alien, a game that Irisol shut down 3 months ago. And shutting down means the game is completely gone. The people have no choice but to migrate to other labyrinths to survive. Ryuki sighed. It's not easy to quickly adapt to a different world. No wonder there are so many stylish young people starving on the streets. Ieyasu always ruthlessly deletes worthless labyrinths, even this Phantasium world, so Ryuki has to move faster. Even before the game ends, as long as he can crush Linfan and Lynxia, that's satisfying. Half a day later, Ryuki finally rented a room. The first thing the system said upon entering the room was naturally, "Gotcha. Time for gotcha. Not yet, I need to check first." The system hurriedly checked the records. Unexpectedly, the gotcha rates increased slightly. For example, SSL from 0.3% up to 1%, only the N-tier item rate dropped. That's awesome. Especially that SSR, nothing to complain about. So Ryuki immediately started gotcha thrilling the system. You have 40 tickets and 2 insurance tickets plus 15,730 random box points. Hoo-hoo, with this stash, SSR isn't just a dream anymore. The system burned through the first 40 tickets, filling the room with light. Ryuki's face after that massive explosion, and now the room is full of junk. Ryuki's knees went weak and he knelt down. 40 tickets and not a single SR or higher. This rate is like being chained up. He punched the system twice in rage. "You useless dust sucker, I'm throwing you in the trash right now." Suddenly a fancy glow appeared with 7-colored light. Ryuki's face changed in an instant. "SSR's coming to me, sweet, what rigged rate, you're a saint." One box is the SR level instant teleport skill. The other is SSR level intuition. It naturally enhances the 6th sense, but at its peak extreme intuition could let Ryuki see the world's origins. Instant teleport is a high-speed instant movement skill. Ryuki thought of how to use it, but he didn't feel any difference with intuition. Is this really on the same level as the previous SSL trump card? Checking skill upgrade points. Oh shit, 7,000 points to level up to 2, making Ryuki bitter. Other skills only need 2 100 points and can level up 3 times. Ryuki's system keep the faith. Wasting points on a silly skill like this is dumb. Better put it into gotcha. Ryuki thought about it and decided to use the points to upgrade the skill. The system wanted to pop its eyes out. "Ah, what are you doing? Those precious random box points, the gotcha spins." Master Swordsmanship Defense is now level 4. Instant Teleport is level 2 and Ryuki only has 8 730 points left. 8 400 points to get Master Swordsmanship to level 5, but the system kept nagging, making it hard for Ryuki to focus. There's still a chance use the remaining points for gotcha. As a result, the system exploded because Ryuki used 8 400 points to upgrade Master Swordsmanship to level 5, which is the highest for SR. Now Ryuki understands why this upgrade required so many points. He laughed excitedly and proceeded with the upgrade. What's this? Ryuki stepped back 3 steps from the blinding light like a falling star toward him. System explained what's happening. But the system was dead. Without gotcha, it couldn't survive. Feathers floated in the air. From that yellow stone, an achievement board appeared. After upgrading, he got an extra 15 gotcha tickets as a reward. Master Swordsmanship became Proficient Swordsmanship at SR level, enhancing sword usage. And it adds a bonus skill. Radiant Sword level 1. Holy crap, Ryuki had to exclaim because he'd never seen upgrading a skill like this. Many players haven't even mastered Master Swordsmanship yet. Ryuki has a super version of it. Proficient Swordsmanship. Ha 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 ha, awesome! Pepsi Ryuki's laughter echoed while the system cried inside. Ha 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 ha, that was awesome! Pepsi Ryuki's laughter echoed while the system was crying inside. It just wanted to see someone controlled by greed and fail spectacularly. This is when the game really begins. Stop babbling and get your ass up, system. Hearing Ryuki's order, the system trembled and followed. This time, he decided to go to the dungeon around here where that Linfan set the record for the 6 fastest completion times. The system was a bit worried because this was their first time conquering a dungeon. Ryuki also knew Linfan had done better than anyone, but he knew he wouldn't let himself lose now. In front of a cave, 5 people gathered together preparing to confront a cheater. "Are you all ready? From now on, stay alert. Is the equipment all set?" The man with the large axe, seemingly the leader, said. His face froze when he saw Ryuki going alone. Hold on, are you planning to go in alone without a team? There's a dangerous dungeon ahead, you know. I know, Ryuki said briefly and stepped through the gate inside. The man muttered, I don't know if Ryuki's gone crazy or not. A young man with him said, we shouldn't poke our nose in other people's business. Lately there are rumors that this dungeon has strange activities. No one's been able to complete it in 3 months. This is the witch's hideout dungeon. I'm wondering, do witches always like living in dark places like this? Ryuki's goal today is to break Linfan's 6 records. He pulled out his sword gun and loaded it. Time to fight! Another intruder arrived. Somewhere Ryuki's image was being monitored by a rice-powered camera. A witch trembled because Ryuki dared to defile her sacred land. Her dark lips and a few missing teeth. Don't be afraid for intruders like you. I'll grant a gift with my own hands. She peered through this crystal ball as if wanting to tear Ryuki's body apart and call it rebirth. Back to Ryuki, he got another gotcha ticket upon entering the first dungeon. As he walked, he fumbled in the dark place, unable to see anything within 3 meters. The dungeon's structure changes randomly, so Ryuki needs to confirm the real structure with his own eyes. If Ryuki remembers correctly, Linfan took 17 hours and 30 minutes. Other players followed closely, especially second place, only 8 minutes behind Linfan, then a gap to 39 hours. Proving Ryuki needs to watch out for AX from the Gaia's Guild who could compete with Linfan, walking a distance in the dark, flashing red lights. They were dense and covered like lighting up the cave. They are giant bats, creatures typical when entering caves. The bats are up high and they like to gang up and add a health reduction effect when biting others. But that's old news. Damn, Ryuki pulled out something and threw it far, then covered his ears. A second later, an explosion with light and a strange sound confused the system. That's a sonic bomb. Since bats are very sensitive to sound, they burst their eardrums and died. Maybe you should warn me first, even though I'm a machine, I have eardrums too. Ryuki walked while finishing off the remaining bats with his sword. Ryuki's relaxed attitude made the system curious why he wasn't speeding up. But Ryuki understood that clearing a dungeon takes a lot of time. Understanding the specimens and tricks will reduce completion time more than rushing forward. The concerning thing is that no one has completed it in the past 3 months. This is extremely abnormal because it's a famous dungeon that's as easy as pie. After Linfan completed it, everyone saw it as a tutorial level. So it's strange that no one could clear it in 3 months. So that's it, but are we going the right way? The system was confused again when they returned to the bats' corpses. Ryuki was sure he was going the right way. The system couldn't know how many strategy guides he wrote as an analyst. Ryuki has seen this dungeon thousands of times in simulations, but in reality, they're going in circles repeatedly. No need to be embarrassed, just admit you're lost. Ryuki observed for a moment and noticed this path had a difference. When he got closer and looked at the curved scratch on the right stone, up until now, there were only straight scratches. This change appeared on the 33rd time they passed here, meaning the exit is open. Wait, did you memorize the structure using such small details? You machine, you're just a noisy piece of junk. Ryuki couldn't focus with it explaining. The entire dungeon is set up with magic that disrupts human orientation, so the structure changes in real time. Theoretically, they have to find the correct route using special job skills. Linfan also had someone like that in his team, but before that skill was discovered, Ryuki had memorized every map point. He can be sure they'll reach the next point in 5 minutes. The system was amazed that Ryuki memorized every tiny difference. No player would think of trying that just to complete a dungeon alone. We're doomed, I got a split personality, owner. A moment later, Ryuki kept walking, but he was already half an hour behind Linfan's pace. He didn't expect this to take more time than Ryuki anticipated. Moreover, there's another unsolved question why players couldn't complete this in the past 3 months. In the room, the witch was going crazy. How dare that stupid intruder get through the labyrinth? I'll crush that faint hope and plunge you into deep despair. The moment you exit the maze, you'll die by my killing spell. Ryuki kept walking without knowing he just stepped on the witch's curse symbol. A purple smoke enveloped Ryuki, but in a moment it disappeared. The system curiously asked Ryuki what just happened. Ryuki didn't know either, but he was sure it's very dangerous ahead. To verify, Ryuki threw a decoy doll forward. A purple flame erupted, violently burning the doll with the word death appearing. Ryuki realized the killing spell that shouldn't appear until they enter the tower. Though the reason is unclear, the dungeon's parameters have changed. The system advised Ryuki to retreat. Ryuki was hesitating. He didn't expect such a scary trap right from the start. Should he turn back? Behind Ryuki, there were 2 paths. The right path should be a dead end, but somehow he felt it was extremely safe. And earlier, Ryuki sensed the killing spell and saved himself. It's all thanks to that intuition skill. The witch stopped angrily yelling and just sneered, "Lucky bastard.
Ball.
You escaped by a hair's breadth, but it's only a matter of time." However, Ryuki suddenly vanished into thin air out of the witch's sight, making her panic. The witch reconnected the Wi-Fi and found Ryuki again, but he was in the main hall, and not where she set the trap. But whatever this will be, your grave. She prepared a series of killing spells in the main hall, just waiting for Ryuki to step in. But no, he vanished as if he was never there, driving her mad. This time it's the old lab opposite the main hall, but somehow that's where she placed the most curses. Even if Ryuki jumps over, she's sure he can't escape the trap. However, Ryuki was hopping through the gaps between the witch's killing spells, making her dizzy. Finally, in her madness, she activated all the traps at once. Looking at the crystal ball reflecting the black flames, she laughed wildly. "Dead yet, kid! I've cut off all escapes. This time for sure." But before she finished, the wall behind suddenly exploded. Ryuki's voice echoed, "See, I told you I'd reach the boss room. Please, can you turn off that edge-hacking skill?" The witch slowly turned her head. The wall was destroyed, and Ryuki casually walked in. She couldn't understand how he found his way here. Ryuki chuckled and explained, "Introductions are annoying, so skip it. It's time to end the game, lonely witch boss Serial." Ryuki drew his sword gun, aiming at Serial. He had a better name for her, a witch, but her front is a pile of steel like a misfortune. She couldn't believe it, even with Ryuki standing right in front of her. Ryuki chuckled. He thought he'd definitely be in danger. This place is truly a death trap, a maze full of pitfalls. One wrong step and the game ends. Those were Ryuki's thoughts while in the maze. He just spawned and had to face a hell game. He could survive, but couldn't endure the pain from instant death traps. This time, Ryuki could only wait until the wall was fixed. But he couldn't delay. Ryuki needed to solidify his position before Linxia or Linfan made a move. At that moment, the system detected a series of killing spells placed, so they had no way forward. But Ryuki charged forward anyway, startling the system. "Oh, don't be reckless. At least use up the gacha tickets before dying." But right now, Ryuki didn't care about its nonsense, because this time gacha gave him a great item. Serial had to admit. Ryuki's intuition skill is totally hacking the game, not only detecting crises, but also sensing the spatial gaps she created. And that's just level 1. When Ryuki upgrades it, things will get even more interesting. Right, but that's still just human intuition. You'll reach a limit in the future. Ryuki wanted to smack the system's mouth. What side is it on anyway? But for now, the most important thing is to survive. Serial suddenly went berserk, her eyes glowing wildly. "Intruder, how dare you!" A series of killing spells were unleashed. Thanks to instant teleport, Ryuki escaped a near death. There's no reason for Ryuki to show off. Her attacks are extremely monotonous, so he'll end it here. "Hey, you disrespectful brat, I admit you for your dirty play. But I'll end it right now." Ryuki used instant teleport to charge at Serial facing her. She still boasted, "I'm free, no one can order me." Ryuki slashed Serial's body in half. The slash was so clean it confused Ryuki because it was easier than he thought. But no, her steel legs suddenly ignited. "What the hell?" Ryuki backed away a few meters. Serial's mouth groaned in pain as green blood spilled out. She's regenerating by copying and is the center of the curse in this dungeon. Even though she's sliced in half, the upper body is regenerating. Here she comes back. Serial stopped groaning and kept attacking Ryuki. He tried to use his intuition to dodge, as one mistake could lead to instant death. Powerful black flames engulfed Ryuki. He slipped and almost got hit. This time, Ryuki had to call on the system. It smugly showed off, "I predicted and adjusted the global app from now on. It can assess monsters. Experience Uladi's greatness. Global assessment mode activated." Serial's image and her moves were all exposed. But she has a pair of wings that haven't been identified. Ryuki used instant teleport to charge at Serial to identify the wings. It's a curse from Space Alien the Maze game that stopped 3 months ago. After piecing it together, Ryuki understood the issue. The origin of this lying curse. The battle grew more chaotic as Serial gained wings. She flew wildly in the area and spewed fire, but Ryuki was even crazier, running and laughing excitedly. Even a small slip could make him vaporize. "Have you really lost it?" The system was genuinely worried this time, but Ryuki was enjoying toying with his prey. Sure enough, Serial went berserk when she couldn't hit Ryuki. She summoned a massive sphere, preparing to smash down. "Feel my wrath, you hateful intruder." If touching it means death, Ryuki just needs to dodge to survive. The sphere fell with an explosion and flames bursting out. Serial squinted dead yet. I've cut off all exits, this time for sure. But a sharp sword was at her head. Ryuki was behind Serial before she knew it. You're just like this dungeon. The stolen power you cling to is just a crutch for the weak. No matter how you cover it up, the weakness will show just like the cracks in this dungeon. When I got close, I could see it clearly. As I suspected, those wings are the source of the curse. Serial suddenly trembled when her wings were touched. To her, the wings are freedom. Serial was stuck here following orders forever, never questioning and never stopping. But when she picked up the wings, she escaped that curse. Serial just wanted to escape her assigned role, and Ryuki empathized. He's fighting to escape a world that's just garbage. If we're really alike, then you understand my pain, right? If we team up... Serial seemed to have a glimmer of hope. But for Ryuki, that's exactly why he'll destroy her precious freedom and use it to advance himself. Ryuki personally tore off Serial's wings and finished off the boss. Finally, the boss returned to normal. And with Serial's no-blood mode, Ryuki stabbed her without mercy. Just because Serial returned to normal doesn't mean everything changed. She lost, and Ryuki is aiming for even higher peaks. Serial's hand gradually faded on the ground. The Jigen system announced, Achievement for clearing the dungeon completed. Reward 1, Jigen ticket. Clearing the witch's lair completed. Reward 1, Jigen ticket. Achieving rank 5 or higher in the witch's lair dungeon completed. Reward 10. Jigen tickets. Achieving rank 1 in the witch's lair dungeon completed. Reward 1, guaranteed SR Jigen ticket. Next update. CRL match announcement, Lonely Witch Victory. Received 500 FB, 500 RP. Received CRL Magic Stone. Received CRL Team. Ryuki held the stone and heart in his hand, sighing, Only 500 RP, 1 Magic Stone, and 1 heart. She was easy to take down if not for the system glitch. But the Black Knight Chaos gave 15,000 RP. Isn't that too much? The blind box service system reluctantly spoke, It seems the higher powers have to challenge you a few times. Our side is still the Guardian. Anyway, I didn't expect much from the rewards. As for the guaranteed SR, I got it. The problem is I broke Linfan's record. A guy dropped his weapon on the ground, cursing, damn, failed again. He turned to his teammates, blaming each other. Why do you keep dying? It's because you keep getting lost, that guy angrily said. What you dare talk big when your skills are nothing. The leader stood in the middle, gently stopping and advising, all right, calm down. You know this dungeon is weird, right? While our side was coming out of the cave, the leader suggested, anyway, we have to try cooperating with other teams this time. They saw Ryuki pass by and mocked, lasted 7 hours. Going solo isn't bad, and you even made it out. The leader wasn't one to back down, ready to give up and go home. Another added, looks like you've lost it. He sneered. At least now you're facing reality. Suddenly, the leader turned to the system board. What's this? It's transmitting. The dungeon info has been updated. His eyes widened. This is... He couldn't help but feel uneasy. Has the dungeon ranking changed? System update. Witch's Lair dungeon ranking first place 7 hours 28 minutes 42 seconds by Ryuki. Second place 17 hours 30 minutes 5 seconds Linfan Darius of the Lin Family Guild. Third place 7 hours 38 minutes 42 seconds AC of Gas Guild. The leader finished reading and panicked. 10 hours less. His companions exclaimed in shock. He went solo and took first place. Impossible, he broke Linfeng's record. How long was it? Suddenly a sword flew toward our side, placing near his neck. The guy behind aggressively questioned, Stop right there. What trick did you use? That guy felt it was unbelievable, kept pressing, You were 10 hours less. How could a solo player do that? Spill it, or you die. Ryuki turned back, sighed, and explained. There was a glitch in the dungeon. I used it to cut time. Good enough. They still weren't satisfied and yelled, Glitch. You mean you completed the dungeon because of that? Breaking it without skill and cheating what's there to be proud of. That guy still held the sword to his neck non-stop, blaming breaking someone else's record with a system glitch and not feeling ashamed. Our side thought, what are you idiots talking about? Ryuki casually said, I fixed that glitch. That guy was stunned. He stepped forward and reminded, Instead of worrying about me, go complete the dungeon. That guy affirmed, A cheater like you has no right to lecture us. Then he swung his sword. He decisively slashed at our side, but Ryuki dodged easily. In return, he gave that guy a devastating punch. That guy could only yell in pain. Our side indifferently walked away, leaving him clutching his chest, trembling with rising hatred. That guy gritted, "You dog, I'll kill you." The leader put his hand on his shoulder, advising, "Enough." He softly said, "We're not his match." That guy brushed it off, retorting, "Don't be ridiculous." "That thief!" The leader couldn't take it anymore, yelling, "Snap out of it, you fool!" He didn't exploit the glitch, he fixed it, got it. The female teammate hesitated. So he didn't create that glitch. The person next to her was so scared he sweated, he even resolved it. That's even harder to believe. The leader frowned suspiciously. "That player looks familiar. I'm sure I've seen him somewhere, but where?" The image of the Black Knight seemed to flicker in his mind. At Bok Ho, this place is full of treacherous mountains and dense forests. In Hongchu Forest, it seems the whole area is covered in a red force. The ancient holy city is originally temples built in ancient style with beautiful scenery. Ryuki looked at the half-eaten bread in his hand and judged there are other, more famous dungeons. The ones where Linfan set records. He added, "There's one more dungeon, but 3 should be enough." You chewed messily and explained a guild set a record 2 years ago. A female gamer from the Gas Guild similar to the Witch's Lair dungeon record Ryuki saw earlier. Her dungeon clear time is also close to your old strategy. Our side felt uneasy. "This is annoying." Ryuki suddenly stood up, determined. "Anyway, let's start tackling those 3 dungeons. We have to erase that annoying Linfan's name." In the Demon Tower, a group was facing evil monsters. Linfan pointed forward, urging, "Quick, grab the loot. You want overtime." Suddenly, the system showed a strange image, making him look back. The screen displayed a giant octopus in a vast river. Linfan was a bit dazed, whispering, "Bok Ho." "Hold on." Next, he saw an image of a spider monster wandering Hongchu Forest. Linfan's eyebrows furrowed. He ordered, "Gather the loot yourselves." Linfan hurried away, leaving only, "I have business, so I'm going first." He ran to his room, lounged on the sofa, thinking, "That guy's suspicious." Linfan recalled the octopus image, pondering endlessly, "Why is he intentionally targeting my records? He's deliberately provoking." Then sitting up, placing a hand on his thigh, worried, "Am I the hot one, or is that Ryuki?" Linfan rubbed his chin, self-questioning. "No matter how I rack my brain, I can't remember who he is. Is he someone I knew?" Suddenly, someone burst in, shouting, "Linfan, big news!" Linfan glanced annoyed, then asked, "What's with all the noise?" He froze at the next words, that Ryuki is streaming. The analyst from Bangladesh, the girl named Reina, crossed her arms. Sweat dripped down her face. Reina pointed to the witch's image. The video title is Anonymous Escapes the Deep Sea 2T New Glitch Dungeon. She wondered, "I have a few ideas from the top players monthly." Next is the video of the giant octopus, Anonymous Escapes the Deep Sea 3 New Records for Bok Ho. Then the spider monster video, Anonymous Escapes the Deep Sea, 4 new records for Hongchu Forest. Finally, the mysterious area video, Anonymous Escapes the Deep Sea 6. Ryuki was a bit surprised, thinking, "I can't believe I cleared 4 dungeons and uploaded that video immediately, smashing all records." As expected, public opinion exploded. Info shows 1.7 million views 3 days ago. Monthly survival game, dungeon new record, 24,000 comments. Dungeon new record 6 with 24,000 comments. He just defeated the monster and thought, "I guess since the Black Knight video, they've been waiting for the next ones." Reina reenacted his battle in her mind. Reina reenacted his battle in her mind. She guessed, "There must still be skills and items I haven't discovered, but the strategy in this video requires deep knowledge of every dungeon element." Reina widened her eyes as if calculating something. She recalled the scene of the witch sprawled on the ground. "The most shocking part for me was clearing the witch's lair. In the past 3 months, no one succeeded." Reina associated with his back and the sword on his shoulder, doubting, yet Ryuki completed it so easily. People couldn't help but whisper, "The past 3 months were insane." A series of viewer comments, "Clearing it is almost impossible." "Wait, he clearly didn't dodge the fatal blow. How did he take down that boss? It's ridiculous. What are those spatial gaps nonsense? Or did he just exploit the system that boss looks like that? Is this even the monthly survival game?" She half believed, could he alone resolve that hellish system glitch? Reina kept thinking about Ryuki. She admitted, "There are many comments saying the video is fake, but clearly the witch's lair was cleared." Reina stood in front of the big screen, pondering, there must be a skilled analyst or a guild backing him. Her face showed fear. It's about to get chaotic even more than the Black Knight mess. Reina picked up her phone, whispering, "The simultaneous video uploads caused distractions, but those videos are nothing." She stroked Ryuki's face on the screen. "Compared to what I'm about to upload, that's his side. From now on, they'll see me as the enemy," he said firmly as he walked. "I'm already prepared." The system watched Ryuki slowly sit down in the chair and asked urgently, "Wouldn't it be better to train a bit more? Isn't it enough already?" He fell silent, deep in thought. Jigen is right, but the longer we delay, the more time they'll have to prepare. I can't stop here. Memories of the past flooded back to Ryuki. He thought to himself, my time has been frozen since 3 years ago. Everything was frozen, leaving only 2 things in my mind back then. His eyes blazed red. Inside it was all grudges, despair, and hatred. Those were the only 2 reasons he kept going. A new video played on the system. Many members of the Linzia Guild gathered, focusing on the screen. A familiar voice rang out. "Hello everyone, I'm Ryu7017, the one who uploaded these videos. My name in the labyrinth is Ryuki." Linfan listened with a serious expression. "I'm sorry, but today's video isn't about dungeon breaking." His face appeared on the screen. Ryuki emphasized each word. "From now on, I'll reveal the truth I know to everyone." Ryuki sat in front of the camera and said, "Hello everyone, I'm Ryuki, also known as Ryu7.017, the creator of the tape, Nameless Escape from the Deep Sea." Rana stared intently at his image on the screen, thinking to herself, "Is that guy really Ryu7.017? He looks more ordinary than I expected." His voice rang out. "First off, a lot of you might be curious. What does nameless in my video title mean? To make it clear, you can take it literally." It made her jump, eyes wide open. Ryuki said seriously, "It's hard to believe that a nameless person without an account could enter the labyrinth. Most players will find that tough to swallow," he went on. "After all, to get an account, you need at least silver rank or higher, pass the test, and get an introduction from a guild." One person said blankly, "He's claiming to be nameless." Another added, "Is this just a trick to get attention?" He frowned and affirmed, "But I'm definitely the most nameless at the bottom of society." Gabriel stood in a corner with his arms crossed, listening. He continued, "As for the account, it was just luck. Whether you believe it or not doesn't matter to me." The crowd kept buzzing with comments. "This guy's crazy. He's like a criminal. Everything's gone to hell. Nameless, what a joke. Someone take this guy down. Who do you think you are?" His speech continued. "This isn't a live stream for excuses or anything, so I don't care what you say about me." Linfan was still lounging, watching the live stream. He smirked mockingly. "Why are they airing this trash live stream? Is this guy nuts? He has no idea what's coming. You nameless trash, know your place." Ryuki said slowly, "But the reason I became nameless is because I was framed." This made Linfan freeze in place. He cleared his throat, getting ready for the main point. "But as I said, I'm not asking for any sympathy. No one would believe it anyway. Even so, the reason I'm making this video is..." Ryuki bluntly pointed out, "I know you Jang watch this. Linfan and all you guys, you damn Linzia Guild. Everyone gathered to watch this broadcast." He brought up the old story. "Do you guys still remember? My pathetic face as I fell into the abyss. My pathetic face as I fell into the abyss." Linfan glued her eyes to the screen as soon as he mentioned that familiar place. "That hell, I'm back now," Ryuki said with a serious tone and determined voice. "Just you wait, now it's my turn." Sir Hot, Sir V, and Secret didn't miss this video either. Sir V nodded as if an enemy of Linzia had appeared. Sir Hot added to the view, "This is no joke." Sir V wondered, "Is this the guy we talked about last time? I heard he's under surveillance now." Secret analyzed the situation. "It seems he used to work for Linzia before becoming nameless. The detailed records were deleted, but it was definitely Gabriel's doing. It looks like he has a grudge against Linfan, so that's why they deleted everything." Sir V set the goal. Linfan Darius is a key candidate, so keep an eye on him. Sir H hesitated a bit. Honestly, they all look pretty pathetic. Secret was worried. "He's raised an issue, so what should we do? Linzia won't let Ryuki off easy." Sir Hot suggested, "Let's put this aside for now. What can the 3 of us decide anyway?" Sir V agreed. "Let's just observe for now. I have my own matters to handle." Secret stroked his chin, thinking, then said, "Yeah, let's observe for now. But I might take action on my own, you know." Sir Hot used that as an excuse to leave. Since when do you ask for my opinion? I'm out. Sir V chimed in. I'm logging off too. Secret complained. You guys are so uncooperative. His figure gradually disappeared. Secret schemed to himself. I guess I'll just do what I want, whatever that is. In front of the camera, Gabriel's image was displayed. Someone asked, let's talk about the hot topic lately. Ryuki and the Linfan Guild, what's their relationship? He clasped his hands calmly, denying any connection with Ryuki. He did work for us once. However, due to an unfortunate incident, he was expelled and cut off from us completely. The reporter jotted it down and pressed, there are allegations that Linfan forced him to confess. Is that true? Gabriel glanced down, hesitating. That's completely false. Then he was bombarded with more questions. There are many other suspicions, including malicious actions toward other players. We've also heard rumors of conflicts with the developers of the illusion world at Ritia, a series of allegations about seizing control of the illusion world. They say you're controlling the dungeons and taking the loot. Gabriel faced the reporters alone. As the guild master, what are your thoughts on these allegations? Oh. He stood his ground. It's just baseless rumors aimed at destroying Linfan's reputation. We've contacted Ryuki for more information. One of our guys is in a dark corner monitoring this interview. Gabriel's eyebrows furrowed as he emphasized, soon enough, everything will return to normal. Suzuki watched the broadcast on the screen intently. The Linfan guildmaster wrapped up, we'll involve the law regarding Ryuki's intentional spread of baseless rumors. The young man noticed Ryuki entering and glanced over. The whole world's in an uproar because of you. A celebrity like you stopping by here. He pulled his hood down curiously, asking, I don't care. More importantly, why does your interface look so different from that old man's voice? Suzuki turned around, one hand on the table, the other on his chest, replying, I like this voice. This whole body is fake, only this is real, you know. The system screen showed an image of the two brain hemispheres. Our guy demanded right away, I don't care, give me the modified version. The young man sighed in disappointment. You're so cold. Too bad what you saw last time is all there is. In the box, there are only 6 left. Grab 1, grab 3, grab 14, grab 23, grab 17, and grab 25. Ryuki brushed it off, demanding, don't give me this junk. You clearly said before that you wanted to test that modified version. His next words made Suzuki pause. Don't you have contact info for the creator? In the dimly lit room with candlelight, their conversation echoed. The young man asked, do you want to work directly with the creator? Our guy replied, if possible, that would be great. Suzuki nodded, I see. Then he reached into his coat, preparing to take something out. Suzuki pulled out a disc and added, they told me to hand this out if anyone asks. They said if you know how to use it, they'll come meet you. Ryuki held the disc, sighing, meet me. Looks like things are about to get serious. Zygon quickly shone light on the disc. An eye lit up the system, announced modified eye. It interferes with the system to collect information across Jigen. However, it's higher quality than other modifications, so the risk is higher too. Ryuki bowed his head, looking unhappy. I don't care about that, but I hate the feeling of being monitored. He just clicked his tongue and pulled down a bag. Anyway, this is our final deal. Suzuki suspected, don't tell me that heavy thing is. Our guy recalled the item from the battle. It's the magic stone from the boss I got in the dungeon. Ryuki set it on the floor and proposed, add the modification to the payment, okay. The young man rushed over gratefully, thanking, thanks, I'll refund you the money. Come back soon. The scene shifted. Sometime later, he walked alone through the crowded street. Ryuki muttered, the money from selling the magic stone and YouTube ad fees is pretty generous, huh? Jigen asked, are you planning to try some blind boxes? Our guy shook his head, not anymore, I want to meet someone. Is the master meeting 2 people in one day? Are you really my master? Suddenly from afar, someone waved and called, hey over there. Suddenly from afar, someone waved and called, hey over there. Garcia smiled brightly, greeting, long time no see. He turned his head and replied, you're earlier than I thought. Jigen went from one surprise to another, asking, since when does the master have friends? I guess I misjudged you. He put his hand on our guy's shoulder, pretending to be friendly. How's it going, Ryuki? The system exclaimed in shock, what the? Our guy stood frozen. his eyes fixed on the arm Garcia had on his shoulder. Then a memory flashed someone's arm pointing at the irazul tree. It was no one else but Garcia standing by the railing, pointing and smiling. And the person behind him was Ryuki, standing with arms crossed, looking at him and smiling. "Back to reality," our guy replied coldly. "You're right, long time no see." Garcia sweated a drop, quickly pulling his hand back, hesitating. "Can we talk for a bit?" Ryuki clenched his fist veins, bulging on his hand blood, slowly dripping. He agreed. "Of course." Garcia flattered non-stop. "You're so friendly. Let's keep in touch more often." But he placed his pinky finger behind his back as if signaling someone. Garcia kept rambling the whole way. "I still feel regretful about what happened 3 years ago. At that time, I really had no other choice." Behind them, men in black suits with guns followed. Ryuki mocked, "Helping a nameless person isn't a small thing, you know." On the rooftop, guards with guns were ready to act on orders. He kept up the act, smiling as he suggested, "I've always wanted to apologize properly, even if it's late. Do you think your apology means anything now?" He looked at Garcia's tense face and questioned, "So tell me, what are you really apologizing for?" He hesitated and said, "I have a way to get you back to bronze rank." Our guy smirked. "Bronze rank? Is that even possible?" Garcia affirmed, "If you follow my plan, it's possible." Of course it's not something that happens overnight. Ryuki's eyes suddenly darkened. He fell into a state of silence. That evening he stood under an umbrella and heard someone calling him. Garcia casually asked, "What did you say?" Our guy struggled in the rain, pleading, "My mom's surgery is in just a week. I'm begging you. You're the only one I know." Ryuki even knelt down, hugging Garcia's leg. "I don't need anything else. If you lend me the money, I'll pay you back for sure." But all he got was 2 curse words, "Damn it." He kicked him hard and snarled, "I came out wondering what nonsense you'd say." "Now you're touching me with those dirty hands." Garcia coldly rejected, "You damn nameless scum, know your place and get lost." He walked away, leaving Ryuki helpless in the rain. He could only cry out in pain, "Mom." At that time, he frowned, grinding his teeth. Ryuki wouldn't give up to fate, and told himself he needed money for his mom's surgery. But in that moment, with dark circles under his eyes from days of searching, Ryuki could only stand and listen. This might be a good thing. That contemptuous voice echoed, "Hospital bills, surgery costs, treatment, and everything else." On the screen was an image of his mom. "It's nothing a guy like you can afford." In front of him was a white cloth covering her face. Ryuki's heart ached as he stood before his mom's coffin. Even though people bad-mouthed him, it was confirmed, "Get out. This isn't a place for nameless scum like you." In his mind, Garcia's cold words echoed, "You damn nameless scum, know your place and get lost." Back to reality, our guy bent down and let out a mocking laugh. He found it confusing and called Ryuki. He slowly spoke up. "Garcia, I'll give you some advice since we used to be friends." Ryuki snapped his fingers casually, mocking, "No one's going to buy your crap." Our guy had already noticed his moves. "I can easily find where you're connected." "Isn't this a Ritia subsidiary?" The screen showed game development activity info. The side game of this extraterrestrial labyrinth has been shut down. He slowly stood up. Ryuki taunted, "Lately your labyrinth seems to be failing badly. In that case, what can you do for me?" Garcia jumped, exclaiming, "No, I really—" Our guy turned and said firmly, "It worked in the past, but not now." Garcia hurriedly stood up, holding a black card as a threat. "Wait, I'll hand over your info to Linxia." He held the card to cover half his face with a sleazy tone. "You work for that guild, so you must know the guild master of Linxia and his brother Linfang Darius." Ryuki grimaced, glancing and calling to our guy, "Did you come up with this tactic?" He recalled that phrase with the newcomer. It's pretty polished. Ryuki analyzed, "Unlike Linfan Darius, he's the ace of the guild, the supreme leader of Guild Lydia." Our guy looked at that vicious face, a cold-blooded snake, Gabriel Darius. He pushed his glasses up and said seriously, "I'm quite looking forward to your next tactic." Garcia waved the Rita card as a threat. "You know how scary that man is, right? Be smart and sit down while he still sees you as human." Ryuki stayed silent, lips pressed tight as if furious. He aggressively demanded, "Let's get to the point." Garcia went on, "Your channel could promote my company's activities. Start with the content you'll broadcast." But our guy crushed the card with one hand. He watched the pieces fall in panic. Ryuki cut him off irritably, saying, "Shut up, okay? I don't want to hear that garbage." Garcia pulled out a dagger from his clothes, furious. "Damn it, I humbled myself to meet low-life like you, and this is how you act." He couldn't control himself and raised the dagger, shouting, "How dare you!" Unexpectedly, our guy quickly grabbed Garcia's throat, shocking him. Ryuki lifted him up, his tone full of killing intent. "Forgot how dangerous this trash is." It made him struggle and groan. His eyes were sharp, like he wanted to devour his opponent. Ryuki said in a low voice, "Garcia." The force from our guy's hand grew stronger. He coldly asked, "Any last words?" Seeing he couldn't resist anymore, Ryuki threw Garcia back and coldly said, "Get out." He left, pulling his hood up, warning, "Don't let me see your face again." He coughed a few times behind him. Garcia urgently reported to his buddies, "The target is escaping. Catch him quick." Outside, shady guys with guns appeared aiming at Ryuki. They shouted, "Stop, hands up!" One of them was hit so hard by him that his gun flew away. Ryuki dashed off like lightning, leaving them stunned. One yelled, "The target's running." They chased him to an alley. One said hurriedly, "Chase him quick, he's cornered anyway." But he had already jumped over the wall in front, surprising them again. "What the hell, where is he?" A dumb guy insisted he definitely ran this way. By then, Ryuki was hiding on the rooftop. The system showed SR skill lightning jump level BA. He sweated a drop in worry. In his mind, Gabriel Darius. He used a more forceful method than I thought. Jigen wondered, "The tension level is increasing, master. What's next?" Our guy replied silently, "No, everything's becoming clearer." Ryuki clenched his fists, determined. "The next thing we have to do is return to the illusion world." That hellhole now Tao's back in it. Gabriel and his two black-suited bodyguards confronted the person in front of them. "I'm very disappointed in you, Garcia. I trusted you, and this is how you repay me. He's 25 years old from—" Gabriel couldn't take it anymore and cut him off. "The more you talk, the more disappointed I get." His face darkened, and he coldly snapped, "Do you think I don't know those basic details about someone who used to work for Lin Xia? I'm not here for useless info like that." Garcia raised his palms loudly, saying, "The blind box is definitely how that nameless guy got the account." He begged like a beggar, "Give me one more chance and I'll investigate thoroughly." Gabriel crossed his legs, nodding. "There is info about an account opened via a blind box, but it was publicly auctioned." Images of the White Snakes and Yuga's gang flashed in his mind. It was the thugs who stole our guy's card. Gabriel guessed, "There's no GA house around here for him to survive. That Ryuki guy must have support, so I want all info on his connections." Garcia grimaced, furious, thinking, "He's been nameless for a year, how would I know?" Gabriel glanced behind, annoyed. What a waste of time talking to trash who's willing to betray the nameless for immediate gain. He recalled Ryuki's smirk at that time. Garcia finally realized, trembling, nameless. He pulled out the dagger again, full of hatred. "Damn it, you lowlife!" Garcia charged at Gabriel from behind, angrily asking, "How dare you look down on me?" Suddenly a hand grabbed Garcia's head from behind. It turned out Gabriel had spun around, moving at lightning speed to Garcia's back, grabbed his head and slammed it down. Gabriel said seriously, "A bronze rank attacking gold. That's disrespectful. There are witnesses here, you can't deny it." The people there just gaped at Garcia lying miserably on the ground. He hit with such force that the ground cracked. Gabriel ruthlessly announced, "Normally you'd be sentenced to death, but I'll show mercy. Garcia, from now on, you'll be demoted to nameless." Immediately, Garcia was restrained by the two guards. He sweated profusely, begging non-stop, "Guildmaster, I was wrong. Please give me another chance." Gabriel didn't care and silently left the scene. He frowned to himself. He might be a brilliant analyst, but that's all. In his mind, Gabriel saw Ryuki's handsome face. How can he compare to Linfan? Obviously not. He sensed some strange energy behind him and guessed, but something makes him special. Gabriel frowned, starting to plot, "I have to uncover the secret of his account at all costs." A small village nestled in a mountainside area. A gentle breeze blew through, carrying the lush green leaves. Suddenly a lightning bolt struck in the middle of it, shattering the peaceful atmosphere. Ryuki held the stone in his hand, pushed up his helmet, and said, "I like this village." The system displayed Level A conversion complete, moving to previously visited location. Jigen asked wearily, "When are you going to open the blind boxes?" The system followed, asking, "Why are you wandering around like this?" Our guy pulled his hood down, muttering, "The number of online players is important too. Not just the village size. Too few or too many won't work." Ryuki explained slowly, "I need witnesses for what I'm about to do." He thought of his previous video and said to himself, "Views have increased significantly since I showed my face. With that much attention, they can't ignore it. So it's time to act." His feet quietly stepped forward. Ryuki thought, "Target Lin Xia, the leading guild in the illusion world, and Lin Xia's ace Linfan." He enthusiastically removed his battle helmet, his voice full of energy. "Time to set the trap!" Jigen excitedly, "All right, let's start." Suddenly, someone pointed far away, reminding, "Time to open the blind boxes." The guy next to him turned and called, "Hey, look over there." The two noticed Ryuki stretching and tossing his helmet. One whispered, "Is that the nameless guy everyone's talking about?" The guy next to him exclaimed in surprise, "Is it really him?" "Right here." Jigen System announced 92 Jigen tickets, 5 guaranteed SR8 525 RP points. Our guy stood in front of the screen, somewhat satisfied, thinking, "Login rewards, daily quests, dungeon achievements. I've accumulated a lot, though the points are a bit low." Ryuki didn't hesitate and ordered, "All right, start with 10 boxes." Immediately, 10 blind boxes dropped like rain. After fumbling with the blind bags, he scratched his head in disappointment. "No SR at all, not even a rainbow one." "How is that possible?" Jigen laughed beside him. "The probability is beyond our control, but if you fail, I'm always ready to laugh at you." Our guy was annoyed and gave the next order, "Use all the remaining Jigen tickets." The system kept announcing the items received. Ryuki knelt down as if about to collapse in front of the mountain of treasures, but to him, it was just junk. Our guy wanted to explode. Trembling, "The SR rate is 3.6%. And after spinning that much, not even 1 or 2. Jigen encouraged, "Master, don't give up. No matter how this world is, it still has meaning." Ryuki sighed it off, "It's fine, I didn't expect much anyway." He held up 5 gold tickets and grinned, 5 guaranteed SR. "Now it's really starting." Jigen agreed, "Of course, Master. You always succeed with these." Ryuki excitedly said, "Exactly, let's see." Open the SR blind box. Jigen System updated SR new Phoenix feather necklace made of phoenix feather. Allows 1 resurrection. Our guy stroked his chin. 1 resurrection, not bad. It could be useful if I get shot. He didn't call the next blind box yet. For the next ticket, he prayed, "Please be a weapon or skill." The gold box opened. Ryuki shouted, "Awesome, another SR! This time it has to be like the lottery." The system stared wide-eyed, repeating, "Lottery." He blankly held the toothbrush. The info transferred was a new SL magic toothbrush. Jigen saw our guy trembling with it and teased, "Master, you're so cool. How many toothbrushes do you have now, and now even an SL1? He sweated his mouth, twitching in disbelief. "No way. Does it have any special features?" It quickly responded with this symbol. "It's a special item. Like magic stones, it can be used outside." Ryuki hesitated and asked, "And Jigen, what's the main use of this toothbrush?" "Regular use prevents cavities. And it doesn't need electricity." Our guy boiled with anger, punching the system junk. Ryuki pondered, "Damn it, maybe I should just pull them all at once. Would that increase the chance of getting something good?" He glanced at the 3 gold tickets. Then he decided and shouted, "Do them all at once." As the 3 gold boxes fell, Ryuki whispered, "Please." Our guy clenched his palms, muttering, "Vaseline, make it a weapon." Suddenly, his eyes widened. Question marks seemed drawn on his face. The system announced 3 SR gun swords. Ryuki raged, "Are you kidding? Why did I get 3 of the same thing?" The crowd around was stunned by the scene. Jigen laughed like crazy. He bent down, pale-faced, trembling. "I said it would work, but how did it turn out like this?" A blonde guy was confused. "What the hell is he doing?" The person next to him wondered, "Should we report this to Linxia?" The system finally said seriously, "Enough laughing. Let me tell you some good news." Our guy looked up, "Wait, good news." He quickly stood and asked, "What do you mean?" Jigen continued, "After pulling so many SR items, you'll unlock the fusion system. It's half hidden. There are many other locked systems, but I can't reveal them now. Just keep trying." Ryuki frowned and questioned, "Then why did you laugh at me?" Jigen honestly answered, "I just couldn't hold back seeing the master in despair." He thought, "One day I'll smash you to pieces. Remember that." Ryuki curiously looked at the info board. "So the fusion system is unlocked now." Jigen System said, "When fusing skills, the overall skill gains extra experience points. The combined skill creates a new one. When fusing items, disassemble for blind box points. When disassembling, upgrade items according to the formula." He nodded. "Fusion, huh? At least the duplicates are useful now." The system's voice rang out, "Start item fusion. Target gun sword including 20 N-grade weapons, 5 L-grade weapons. Required item 1 gun sword." Jigen displayed the original gun sword item. Soon after, it upgraded to a shiny gold gun sword. The system reported new SL enhanced gun sword. Ryuki held the weapon, his eyes lighting up, exclaiming, "Enhanced gun sword. It's much stronger now. Is there a limit on uses?" Can I fuse anything? He figured it out and yelled, seems like yes. Damn it, I knew it would work. Now it requires 2 gun sword items. Fuse again. The system announced original enhanced gun sword item. Ryuki raised the gun sword. A golden energy shone down on him. Our guy excitedly shouted, fuse it! Then the weapon turned into a sharp red blade running from the gun barrel to the middle of the sword. Jigen's system updated new SR enhanced gun sword. A flat blade type with 3 energies on each side can be used as firepower. Our guy stroked it, grinning wildly. The system felt chills. Master, your mental health is concerning. Ryuki quickly directed, continue with the remaining skills. Upgrade defense. Defense level 4 requires 8400 RP to upgrade. And defense level 5 ready to upgrade to SR enhanced woven defense. He gave the next request. What about fusing defense with divine sword? Jigen's system conveyed fusion skill results include SL enhanced holy sword level 1. SL Enhanced Divine Sword Level 1, SL Enhanced Imperial Sword Level 1. Ryuki wasn't satisfied and pointed at the system. Why is the result so random? At least give options right. It calmly responded. Isn't that more fun? Jigen winked, egging him on. Fuse the skill then. You can boost your current power and get something new. You can boost your current power and get something new. Why not aim for the super enhanced level right away? He carefully asked. What's the probability? It calmly said, about 2%, pretty tough. Ryuki was speechless. Duh! Why did I even ask? Our guy bet forget it. Let's do it. Jigen's system announced, result received SL Enhanced Holy Sword Level 1 item. The legendary feature of the Holy Sword activates automatically. Divine Sword Level 3 activates. Defense Level 3. Energy Level 1 gains experience. He looked at the info and wondered, Holy Sword. Ryuki covered his mouth in surprise. Too bad it's not enhanced, but oh well. It seems like fusing old skills. Wait, why did the skill level drop? It laughed it off, random, you know. Our guy just yelled, oh, come on. Random, you know. Our guy just yelled, oh, come on. Then he sighed and grinned, whatever. Seeing no response, Ryuki asked, confused, Jigen, why are you just standing there? Try using it right. The system saw someone appear behind him and warned, Master. The system saw someone appear behind him and warned, Master. Suddenly, a masked guy placed his sword against Ryuki's neck, whispering, You're Ryu 7 Oyent. Our guy wasn't scared at all. Did Linzia send you? He angrily shifted the sword slightly as if to slit his throat. I'm the one asking here. Ryuki widened his eyes as an excuse, drawing a sword in the middle of town. This is a no PK zone. The next second, the black-clad guy slashed, making blood spray from his neck. He looked at Ryuki hunched over, holding his neck, mocking, Why care about that stupid rule? The crowd around witnessed it in shock. The black-clad guy pointed his sword at our guy and explained the rules. PK rules between players just mean no killing. You can deal damage as you like as long as they don't die. Our guy thought, right, that's how Linzia operates. It feels so real. He held his neck to stop the blood and taunted, If you're from Linzia, why not take off the mask? Ryuki added as if itching for it. Aren't you supposed to attack right after announcing? Finish it off. He stabbed the sword through his chest from behind. The black-clad guy raised his eyebrow and warned, From now on, don't expect any peace in this labyrinth. No matter where you go or hide, I'll follow. Ryuki laughed out loud even though he was badly hurt, the sword still in his chest. He pulled the sword out, making him collapse. Yet his laughter kept going. The black-clad guy was puzzled, still laughing. Our guy shook as he turned. Can't I laugh? The illusion world is Linzia's property, so that's why you're acting so recklessly. He raised the sword angrily, threatening, Keep laughing, it'll turn to screams. As the black-clad guy swung the sword down, he quickly used the SR Lightning Jump Level 3 skill to leap aside. At the same time, he drew the gun sword. Ryuki spun and charged straight at him. He quickly pressed the gun sword against the black-clad guy's neck. Our guy smirked and cursed, You triple bastard. He shouted in fear. What? Ryuki said gravely, This is enough times you've attacked me to create a scene of a player being attacked by a ruthless guild, right? The black-clad guy trembled. What are you saying? His tone grew terrifying. Now it's my turn. Ryuki swung the sword behind, creating a dazzling red energy to finish him off. He excitedly said, Counterattack. The crowd watched the scene in fear. The black-clad guy's screams kept coming. No. He was stabbed through just like he did to Ryuki. At the same time, he knelt down, holding the gun and begging, "Stop." He kept the sword and gun on him, one foot on the black-clad guy's back, taunting, "Why are you acting weak now? Weren't you the one who said you'd chase me till I drop?" Ryuki mocked, "Hurts a lot, doesn't it? That's how I felt before." In this virtual world, defense reduces damage and pain. He casually said, "But attacks don't." He trembled and complained, "Why can't I log out?" Jigen quickly explained, "Log out has been blocked for a while." Ryuki lifted the sword slightly and nodded. "Just as you said. In this PK-free zone, you can't lose blood or die. All you feel is endless agony from being stabbed and chopped to pieces." Thought he was pulling it out, but he twisted the gun sword, making the black-clad guy scream in pain. Ryuki despised, "You're probably used to these screams. You've been doing dirty work like this for a long time." The system whispered in his ear, "Master." Our guy jerked and realized, "They're here." A group of masked, black-clad guys quickly surrounded him from all sides. The leader was Cassius. He stepped forward and got straight to the point. "Ryu, 7.017, let me be frank. If you quit playing altogether, we'll act like nothing happened. You're being too generous, acting like you're giving me a huge favor. Wasn't it you who provoked me first?" The two swords stabbed into the black-clad guy lying there in shock. Cassius had to admit, "You're too insolent." His eyebrows furrowed, voice challenging, "I didn't expect you to be this dangerous." "Dream on. I'm curious about that gun sword of yours, too. I've never seen it here." Cassius stared at the gun sword, wondering how you brought it in. He continued, "You know damn well that's not it. That Hell Tao has returned to it now." Cassius scratched his head and reminded, "It's probably just a system error. If you had just exploited it quietly, nothing would have happened." As soon as he finished speaking, his subordinates rushed to attack him like a pack of wolves hunting prey. Two swords were about to pierce into Ryuki, but he easily dodged them like it was nothing. The next three attacked relentlessly, but it didn't faze our guy one bit. Cassius came rushing from behind, thinking to himself, "You're quick on your feet, but that's all you've got." Cassius went for a deadly strike, but Ryuki countered with a sword gun slash that cut right through him. The system announced SR Holy Sword Skill Level 1. He trembled as he saw his own sword crack, panicking completely. How could a player reach this level without even stepping into the tower? That takes a ton of MP. Cassius thought about his dwindling MP bar and muttered, "At this level, you're crazy to use a move like that so recklessly." He looked at the smug face of the boy and dismissed it. "He's probably just a rookie who got lucky." Cassius regained his composure swiftly, dashed behind Ryuki, raised his sword, his voice trembling. "This is pathetic right away." Our guy spun around and blocked the sword strike with his sword gun. Ryuki gripped his weapon tightly. Its force was so strong that it cracked the enemy's sword again. He smirked. "You think this is some kind of halo?" In an instant, Ryuki wildly slashed at Cassius. His power was terrifying, sending the man flying backward with a scream of agony. He stared at our guy in disbelief at what had just happened. No way. Cassius raised his sword to defend, thinking, "He's broken through it. Is that another skill from the labyrinth game? If I wait until that skill wears off?" Ryuki warned without hesitation, "You still don't get your situation, do you? The more you push, the worse it'll be for you." He calmly explained, "My skill doesn't even use MP." The others gasped in shock. "What?" Ryuki engaged them head-on. "Stalling works for me. I get more time to train." He showed his contempt. "Anyway, I've always just fought monsters up till now. Sparring with people for a change is kind of fun." One guy stood frozen in front of our guy's sword, thinking, "Training." Everyone's faces turned pale again as screams of pain echoed through the air. In the distance, another mysterious figure in a hooded cloak watched and listened calmly. The 7 archers who'd just been struck shivered as they looked at their hands. He yelled, "My hand!" He yelled, "My damn hand!" Cassius grimaced and warned his crew, "Don't get hit." He dodged the next attack. He grabbed 2 swords, shouting, "Everyone get in position!" Our guy saw them forming a shield wall in front of Cassius and found it amusing. What a show. Ryuki bluntly pointed out, "You're even using the Black Knight Forest formation. If you're pulling out a weapon like that, you might not bother hiding your identity anymore, right? It's over, Swordsman Cassius." He froze for a second when he heard his name like it hit a nerve. Ryuki recalled Cassius's face with disgust. "Your fan base isn't as big as Linfan's, but it's still decent. Don't you feel ashamed building that gentleman image?" How can you not be embarrassed by that? Hearing his image mocked like that, he gritted his teeth, his anger boiling over. Cassius created a glowing golden circle and roared, "I'll make you immobile!" He bellowed, summoning illusion chains. The chains shot out like they had a mind of their own, instantly binding our guy as if to drown him in a trap. Cassius ordered, "Ban all ranged weapons from harming him within the allowed area." In seconds, 3 things appeared that could deal massive damage. The system announced accelerated firepower dragon breath. He didn't move a muscle, just stood there blinking as they closed in on him. Cassius frowned, analyzing, "I've figured out your defense skill." "His attacks aren't steady." Seeing the worried look on the boy's face, he was sure he couldn't counter. The 3 energy blasts gathered and surged toward where our guy stood, causing a massive explosion. Smoke filled the air. A foot stamped down hard with a voice saying, "Just as I expected." Not only was he unharmed, Ryuki had a satisfied look on his face. He ran his hand along the sword gun, chuckling, "No wonder it's an SR upgrade." Jigen added, "Sword with space-cutting effects. It can even deal non-physical damage." He acted like a mischievous kid, swinging the sword gun around and mumbling, "But it's a bit disappointing. I should have been more careful with wide range and distant attacks. Now just one swing will do." Cassius saw this and cursed, "Damn it!" He shouted, "Everyone regroup!" But as soon as he said it, a bullet hit him in the chest. His crew saw Cassius drop and yelled in worry, "Boss!" Ryuki taunted. First time facing bullets, taking down the boss with one shot isn't much of an achievement. He lay on the ground, blood pouring out his hand, shaking badly. His henchman backed away, looking terrified. "That weapon! There's no way." How could something like that exist in this world? No way the gun barrel was still hot smoke billowing. They stared in horror, blurting out, "A gun." Images flashed of fighting monsters versus people. It can control crowds of monsters, but humans are a whole different story. His henchmen swallowed hard, their fear unending. In this virtual world, guns don't exist. No matter how strong Lincia's forces are, they'd lose to this. Ryuki smirked, pointing the sword gun forward. "Why are you hesitating?" Our guy challenged, "You attacked me first. Get ready to be a vegetable or die from shock. You'd better prepare now." He pulled the trigger. A brilliant energy blast spread from the barrel, lighting up Ryuki's excited face as he asked, "Right." On the other side, a mysterious bear figure watched the gunfire on the screen, curious, "What the hell is going on?" A system glitch. It laughed. "Things are getting more interesting." Where our guy was, a sword lay on the ground with a trembling voice, "No way." Ryuki was sweating profusely, breathing heavily. Jigen analyzed, "They're just relying on dodging. Any other movements are unnecessary." It's completely opposite to the master's attacking style. Everyone was sprawled out, unable to get up. The system reminded, "I've blocked their logout. They'll have to endure this pain for a while." He knelt on one knee, propping the sword gun on the ground, mocking, "As a high-ranking member of the Lydia Guild, you must have something to protect your mind." Suddenly, a strange light appeared on Ryuki's forehead, startling him. Our guy quickly leaped up, dodging a deadly blow. He landed wearily next to the crater from the attack. Ryuki thought, "This move, I've seen it in videos so many times." Our guy recalled the meteors that had just flown in. Only when you're skilled with a spear is it one of the few wide-area attack skills in the virtual world. Ryuki looked up at the shower of spirit stones. He recognized it as the Starfall shower. Our guy dodged to the side to save himself, thinking, "Could it be?" He gaped, glancing at the stone right by his head. The stone transformed. The crowd stood frozen, unable to believe what was happening. In front of them, it was just a pile of rubble, and he was gone. They panicked, saying to each other, "He's vanished." What if they're with Linxia, then what? Cassius weakly tried to sit up, thinking, "So they've intervened personally." Energy from above kept chasing Ryuki relentlessly. Wherever he ran, it followed. Ryuki turned back and shouted, "So, you're Linfan! Show yourself!" He landed with intense energy, saying, "I couldn't just sit back anymore." Vice leader of Lydia Linfan Darius said seriously, "How could I ignore your invitation?" Right then, Linfan stood there, smiling, weapon on his shoulder, casually mocking, "Why stir up trouble when you could stay out of it?" Jigen immediately warned, "Your heart rate is too high." Ryuki stared at the enemy in front of him, thinking, "I've imagined this moment for so long." He said coldly, "I just have one question, Linfan. Do you even remember who I am?" He sighed and replied, "I've got so many enemies, how could I remember? That's why I came myself. Up close, maybe I'll recall something." Linfan ignored Ryuki's stunned look and said indifferently, "But I still don't remember a damn thing." "Are you sure you have beef with me?" Our guy smiled, his voice choked with anger. You ruined my life and now you don't remember. He covered his face, trying to remember, muttering, Wait, Ryuki. Then he put on a mocking face and added, Damn, I still don't remember. Memories from the past started flooding back for him. Images of his sick mother of being beaten and looked down on. Ryuki's face darkened. Along with Linfan's irresponsible words, does it matter? Feel wronged. You think whining like this will change anything? His hand gripped the spear tightly. Golden energy radiated intensely. He lectured him. Golden energy radiated intensely. He lectured him. You're just blaming others for your own misfortunes. That's all there is to it. Linfan crouched down. Around him, the energy suggested he wasn't taking our guy seriously, mocking him. But anyway, I'm here now. Don't disappoint me too much. On the other side, Ryuki smiled back. You're worrying for nothing. I have no intention of going easy on trash like you. He gripped the SR sword tightly. The dominant energy was a deadly red. The two faced off, one with a spear, the other with a sword gun. Their energies made the air ripple. The spear in Linfan's hand glowed brightly. Ryuki gripped his sword tightly, his face slightly worried, thinking, he's here. In a flash, Vice Leader Lin Xia was in front of him with a cold smile and his weapon. In the next second, it seemed the spear tip was aimed straight at his eye. Our guy grimaced in shock, wondering what kind of speed is this? The powerful energy from the spear blasted a path, destroying the ground and causing a huge explosion behind. Smoke everywhere. Linfan stood after the move, still smirking in surprise. Oh, you dodged it! Our guy sat by the massive trench from the attack, showing its force wasn't simple. Along with his mocking words, for a nobody like you, that's not bad. Ryuki stared at his shaking arm, thinking, his power. Before he could recover, Linfan continued, let's keep going. He swung another powerful strike at him. He used all his strength to raise the sword gun in front to block. Linfan swung repeatedly. On the other side, Ryuki blocked each time. He was pushed back continuously. Ryuki thought, is this just his normal strength? It's so fast that I can't even recover from blocking. Relying on instinct alone makes it hard to dodge. Meanwhile, Linfan swung from below, sending him flying back. He jumped back a distance. Ryuki propped his sword on the ground after skidding. His voice continued, I guess I underestimated you. He quickly asked, underestimated me. Linfan spun his spear, stepped forward, and said coldly, enough playing around. Nowadays, players are just for farming energy. Back in the day, people played games just for fun, right? He yelled, I've been holding back for you. Then came an extremely powerful downward strike, making the ground shake. The energy it released sent dirt flying everywhere. Linfan closed in, facing Ryuki directly. A smile on his lips full of confidence. Only someone exceptional like me can do that. The spear in his hand spun faster than ever. At the same time, he encouraged, step it up and score some points. He laughed, gripped tightly, raised the spear high, preparing to strike with the meteor impact skill. The strike carried powerful blue-purple energy, its force so great that the ground around Ryuki shattered. Ryuki raised the sword gun to block, thinking, my wrist feels like it's about to shatter. But Linfan said in surprise, huh? What the hell? The sword was shaking violently from the weight of the meteor impact. He thought, almost there, hold on. Ryuki waited until his skill activated. SR Holy Sword level 1 with block skill level 3. This move knocked Linfan's weapon upward. His face brightened, thinking blocking creates an opening. Now it's my turn to attack. As soon as he thought of countering with his experience, a spin let him close in quickly. This time the spear tip was closer to his body than ever. A massive swing sent Ryuki sliding far back. The sword gun in his hand shook, and he thought, does blocking have no effect on him? This counter is even stronger than the Dark Knight's. Linfan stood there calmly, looking over blocking. Right, interesting. That skill isn't in the virtual world, right? Interesting. He said coldly, time to get serious with you. Wonder if you can block this. With that, Linfan thrust the starlight spear straight at Ryuki. He quickly tilted his head to dodge, wondering, blocking should have worked, right? Linfan's speed was so fast it seemed like he had a clone. Ryuki focused on blocking, thinking, how is he recovering so quickly? Is it the weapon? He realized blocking on instinct and thinking, from the data I researched as an analyst, I'm sure. Linfan charged in, warning, you're better than I thought. I'm speeding up now, try to keep up. Ryuki recalled the info on that weapon, rare item Starlight Spear. The more hits you land, the faster it gets. Whether with intuition or blocking, I can't hold out much longer. Suddenly he launched a direct slash to counter. He thought, this is my last chance aim for his weak spot. But enduring the pressure for so long left Ryuki pale blood rising in his throat. He coughed. Right then the starlight spear pierced his body. Linfan smirked mockingly. That's pathetic. In 3 more seconds you'd set a record. He looked at him confidently. Guess this fight won't be memorable. Just a little thrill. The end. Then he flung our guy far away without mercy. Ryuki hit the ground hard, a huge hole in his body, blood gushing out. Linfan said disdainfully, I'm actually a bit let down. You think you can take me down with that level? He lay there, his whole body shaking from the massive wound in his gut mouth, agape and speechless. His voice kept going, oh, even if you want to die here, you can't. This is a no PK zone, like the village where Ryuki fought Cassius. It looks like a ruin, no NPCs around. But due to a system glitch, it's still considered a village. If you don't want more beating, spill it, who's backing you? Meanwhile, Ryuki was struggling to crawl away bit by bit. He sat up clumsily and shouted, Shut up! If you're that curious, why not ask Cynthia? That name made Vice Leader Lin Xia freeze. He repeated blankly, Cynthia. Linfan quickly grabbed our guy's collar and yelled, Do you know where she is? Where is that woman? Ryuki saw his reaction and laughed, asking, What did she betray you? His face showed pure rage as he yelled, Don't talk nonsense. Answer me now. Something was in Ryuki's hand. Answer me now. Something was in Ryuki's hand. He thought quietly, Stay calm, my intuition's never been this chaotic. As Linfan shouted, Where is she? Ryuki's hand glowed. It was the World Tree bullet, a blinding light that made him cover his face. Linfan winced. What the hell you think I'm your toy? Meanwhile, Ryuki smiled back. Do you think I'd let others control me? Ridiculous. Why would I need help to deal with scum like you? Linfan glared, Fine, you're not talking. You asked for this. Don't regret it. Ryuki gripped his sword gun, challenging, You said you don't remember right, but today I'll make sure you never forget. The sword flashed with energy, and he said confidently, Because now I'm only at 50% power. Ryuki stood facing his enemy, boldly declaring, From now on, I'll face you with just 50% of my power. Jigen called out, Master. Hearing that Linfan mocked 50%, Think you can brag like that? While Ryuki stood there with a cold smile and signaled the system. It responded, Understood, but don't regret it. Ryuki looked over and laughed. Regret? I've tossed out useless emotions like that long ago. Without making him wait, he charged in, mocking, Arrogant fool! Linfan blocked while thinking, reading his attacks with intuition, stalling by deflecting. Ryuki quickly thought, then use quick steps to close in. Suddenly he noticed Linfang's foot coming at him. His kick sent Ryuki flying back. The impact with the ground nearby caused a big shock. Ryuki coughed up blood, the wound on his chest still fresh. Ryuki realized he'd switched to kicks in an instant. Before he could process and regain his rhythm, the spear was already at his eye. Ryuki's eyes widened in shock. Luckily, he quickly pushed the spear aside, avoiding a fatal blow, but it grazed his arm. Linfan stood there saying contemptuously, You're lucky since this is a no PK zone. It'd be boring if it ended too fast anyway. After all that, Ryuki looked at his wound, worried, thinking, My right arm barely has strength left to move. If I'd been a second slower, it would have been chopped off. He rubbed his neck and added, Besides, if I fought in town, the leader would chew me out. No place is better for a real fight than here. Peaceful and uninterrupted. Ryuki stood up immediately, using a skill on his legs, and shouted, Shut up! In a flash, Ryuki moved from in front to behind Linfan, swinging the sword gun and yelling, Die! He glanced back and sighed. I told you that won't happen. With that, Linfan swung the starlight spear backward, blocking the ambush and countering hard. He smirked coldly, the spear radiating intense energy. Linfan looked over and asked, Think you can handle this? He used the meteor shower skill. A barrage of sparkling purple crystals hit Ryuki's position, making the area glow brightly. Ryuki lay there in the smoke, mouth open, eyes rolled back, groaning in pain. Linfan looked over and said, Slowing down, huh? After all that boasting about fighting at 50% power, is this all you've got, Ryuki? His hand shook as he propped himself up with the sword, kneeling to stand. His voice mocked, I should have known it'd end like this. You think a guild's ace gets pampered. Linfan planted his spear in the ground, waving his other hand provocatively. Fight harder. This is your perfect chance for revenge, right? While Ryuki struggled to his feet, he looked on calmly and finished with contempt. Now it's just boring, you pathetic weakling. Then Linfan stepped forward, grabbed Ryuki's collar, and lifted him up. He laughed and tossed Ryuki into the air effortlessly, building energy at the Starlight Spear's tip. Linfan said quietly, "At the end, I feel like it'd be a waste to finish you too soon. Maybe I should toy with you a bit longer." He used the meteor shower skill, then instantly thrust the spear forward, releasing the built-up energy in a flash. A beam of golden light hit Ryuki straight on, sending him flying back. The shadow of the Starlight Spear pierced through him. After the move, Linfan turned away in disdain, sounding bored. What a disappointment. Behind him, a shockwave and thick smoke. Suddenly, a notification popped up on his system. Linfan jumped and looked. What is it? I must have been away too long, probably another scolding. The boss calling. He muttered, I must have been away too long, probably another scolding. On the screen was a message from Gabriel Darius, stop the fight and return immediately. But just then, from the rubble, Ryuki yelled, wait! Linfan spun around thinking, impossible, how did my attack not go through his armor? The pain should have killed an ordinary person from shock, or at least left them bedridden. He looked at Ryuki kneeling there and assessed, this isn't something just willpower can endure. At that moment, Jigen appeared and said to him, control the sensation. Reduce sensory input to at least 50%, and you'll feel less pain, but your movement speed will slow down. It's almost there, scolding, are you the type who tortures yourself and enjoys the pain? That last move could have killed you. Ryuki replied, I have no other choice if I want a chance. His eyes showed determination and resolve against the one who humiliated him in the past. Linfan was now back in front of Ryuki. He continued, I just need to keep fighting back. Linfan was now back in front of Ryuki, then said suspiciously, you must have used some glitch, but it'd be better if you just stayed down. That question seemed to hit his weak spot. Linfan paused, stunned for a moment, then his voice rang out. What did you say? Our guy smiled mockingly. Does that get you mad? Ryuki smiled mockingly. Does that get you mad? He propped himself up secretly using some ability and kept provoking Linfan. Seeing you here, this is clearly a solo move. From his hand appeared a blade. Ryuki said to throw him off Vice Leader Linzia right now. Gabriel must be furious. But Linfan stayed pretty calm, replying, done. I took the risk and got what I wanted. As he finished, Ryuki's weapon flew past his neck. Linfang's eyes widened in shock. Blood sprayed out. Linfang's eyes widened in shock. Ryuki stood up smirking. Underestimating me, just a nick on your neck and you're groaning like that. Linfan clutched his neck to stop the blood, his whole body shaking. Ryuki kept mocking, it's understandable if this is your first time feeling pain like this. Even though your armor should have reduced damage and pain, my attack doesn't follow those rules. That blade cut probably severed your artery. Blood keeps pouring and the pain's making you scream non-stop. He lost control, cursing, you bastard. Ryuki calmly replied, still holding up. If you can yell with a neck wound like that. He crooked his finger at himself, challenging, shut up and come at me. Ryuki had successfully provoked Linfan. He charged in wildly with the Starlight Spear, shouting, shut your mouth! The battle seemed balanced now. Instead of taking hits, Ryuki swung his sword gun in a slash and the fight continued. This surprised Linfan. What is this? He's reading my attacks. He's hurt too, so why? On the other side, he stayed calm, smiling as he recalled, back when I was an analyst, I studied Linfan endlessly to improve my strategies. I memorized every skill pattern, his fighting habits, even behaviors suggested from his psychological profile. Ryuki countered, stabbing the vice leader of Linzia in the leg, thinking, he's never felt pain like this before. If he loses focus, I'll gain the upper hand. Meanwhile, on Linfan's side, blood still flowed from his neck. The leg wound made him wince in pain, cursing, damn it! Then he thought, I need to end this fight right now. At that moment, both faced off after the clash. Linfan's whole body radiated golden energy, blood spurting from his leg. He decided, I'll put everything into the next strike. He used a series of skills, first Spear Echo to boost attack speed, then Monster Strength to increase attack power, plus Double Strike to double the damage on one hit, and finally 7 stars to raise critical hit rate, all channeled into the Starlight Spear. Each skill corresponded to a color appearing there. Linfan looked confident, smiling. This is my awakening skill, usually for hunting tower bosses. This one will pierce right through him. Then he used the meteor attack skill. On this side, Ryuki stayed completely calm. He frowned slightly and said, "Invincible spear." Ryuki thought quietly, "I just need to hold out. As long as I don't leave the no PK zone, I'll be safe. I've used the terrain to redirect attacks and tried to endure." In an instant, his figure vanished from the spot and moved elsewhere, surprising Linfan. He charged after him, yelling, "You think you can dodge with that slow speed?" Surprisingly, Ryuki threw out a wooden doll in gears. It hit Linfan right in the face. He blurted, "What the hell?" Ryuki raised his glowing hand, thinking, "If I can't avoid that attack, I'll minimize the damage and recoil by any means." He threw out a bunch of junk from his inventory to block him: toothbrushes, house slippers, trash cans, fake dolls, cheap hats, women's clothes. Linfan yelled in fury, "Are you kidding? You really think you can stop my meteor attack with this crap?" Ryuki kept going regardless. Linfan's quick dodges made his face darken, his eyes blazing. He thrust the starlight spear forward, raging, "Die!" Each thrust hit the old wound on Ryuki again. The strike sent him flying back, creating a massive shockwave smoke and a beam of light. Linfan looked over and said, "You annoying rat, did you dodge the direct hit?" He pointed the spear at him, insisting, "But there's no way you can win in your current state." Suddenly, Ryuki smiled weakly, replying, "I finally reached this point." He grabbed Linfeng's weapon tightly. He snarled, "You scum, how dare you dirty my weapon with your filthy blood." He thought, "This leech won't let go." He yelled back, "What the hell are you babbling about?" "Let go." Ryuki recalled the SSR item. "From the start, I tested it with Serial's wings. Then in the video, I said it was a skill, but it's not a skill or an item." Now Linfeng's eyes widened at the green light. In front of him, he exclaimed, "What the hell?" watching his spear in Ryuki's hand glow and fade. He shouted, "What's happening to my spear?" Linfan was shocked, eyes wide and mouth open, yelling, "My inventory!" Ryuki smiled, SSR system erase. His spear was slowly dissolving in his hand. Linfan was stunned. Linfan was stunned as he watched his weapon turn into faint fragments. He exclaimed in shock, "What the heck, the Starlight Spear?" Team message. Linfan looked at his empty, trembling hands and wondered, "It's gone from my inventory, too." No way that was the only one. In this game, there's no destroy item function, so how? Vice Leader Linzia gritted his teeth in anger, glaring at Ryuki suspiciously. Some illusion trick. Yeah, that guy must have used some cheap tactic. While he was pondering, click, a sword gun in the other hand was fired. The bullet hit Linfan's right shoulder, fast and forceful. Blood sprayed. Everything happened so quick he hadn't even reacted to the new wound. He clutched his chest body, shaking. A few seconds later, he clutched his chest body, shaking, and doubled over in pain. Ryuki stood there smirking. "I was aiming for your heart. You're quick, no wonder you're the ace." Linfan looked up, frowning. What did you do to my weapon? Tell me." He smiled and answered, "Still don't get it. Your precious weapons is gone for good. I erased its data." Ryuki's face lit up confidently, explaining it as the power of system erase. Jigen displayed the SSR erase item info, a system intervening type that deletes data in the labyrinth game. Activation condition: maintain contact with the target for at least 5 seconds, usable 4 times per week, based on real time. Current uses 1 out of 4. As Vice Leader Linfeng quickly pulled out a new weapon and said, "I don't know what trick you're pulling, but killing you will fix everything. One weapon is more than enough to take you out." Contrary to expectations, Ryuki turned and ran, calling back, "Then chase me, bet you can't catch me." Linfeng immediately pursued, shouting, "You think I'll let you escape?" Suddenly, under his foot where he stepped, there was a click. Vice Leader Lin Xia seemed to step on something, looking down. "What the hell?" On this side, Ryuki glanced back and smiled at the huge explosion behind. After the smoke cleared, Linfeng stood there, hand over his face, yelling, "Crazy! What just happened?" Before he could figure it out, another bullet hit his chest. Seeing Linfeng collapse, blood flowing, Ryuki warned, "If you want to live, stay put. I've set up mines all around here." This made Vice Leader Lin Xia's face darken, looking up mines. He said confidently, "Cheap stuff, you don't even know this place." As he said that, another click sounded under Lin Xia's foot, but understanding his intent, Ryuki smiled. "You don't think I know this place, do you?" Vice Leader Lin Xia was furious, veins bulging, yelling, "You son of a bitch!" Ryuki pointed at his own head, full of confidence. I know everything you're planning from how you showed up to how you intended to kill me. Ever since I posted that video, I've been planning. Lin Xia was fuming, standing still, listening as he continued. This is where scum from Lin Xia like you cheat, right? I guessed you'd lure me here. In the mine pit that just exploded, Ryuki went on, so I prepared a gift for you. Thanks for walking into my trap. He smiled, eyes full of deadly coldness. In return for this favor, I'll make sure to stick around and play with you till the end. Lin Xia mocked like that, gritted his teeth, and froze for 5 seconds. Then he lost it, charging through the minefield anyway, yelling, "Shut up!" And so more explosions shook from the mines. Lin Xia raised his hand in front of his face. Was that Ryuki's shadow in the dust? He thought, damn it, like a rat he dodged again. The dust blocked his view. Instantly, Vice Leader Lin Xia thrust his weapon into the shadow in front, grinning, "Die, you bastard!" But what he hit surprised him, making him pause, eyes wide. This is... What Lin Xia struck was an N-grade item called Decoy Trap. Ryuki seized the chance, grabbing his weapon and starting the countdown, 5, 4, 3, and in a flash, 2 and 1, echoed. Once the time was up, Lin Xia's weapon showed cracks and began to fade him, screaming in horror. No way, how is this possible? When Ryuki reached 0, the spear in his hand was officially erased. He smiled lightly. So starting to feel it now. While he was still in shock, Lin Xia's voice trembled. That's not really the Starlight Spear. Before he could finish, the sword gun was pressed against his face. Info appeared: Irazu sword gun jack, activating full power along with the Irazu shot skill. The force from a full power shot at close range sent Vice Leader Lin Xia flying back, his eye-injured blood flowing and pain surging. As Ryuki approached with eyes full of hatred, Lin Xia lay there threatening, "Damn it, one day I'll make you pay." The logout system showed virtual world confirming logout, but the result wasn't as expected, his screen notification fading. Lin Xia screamed, "Why isn't the logout working?" Right then the sword pierced through his chest, making him scream in pain. Jigen appeared next to Ryuki and said, "I've disabled the logout." Ryuki smiled and asked, "Trying to bail at this crucial moment? You're Lin Xia's ace card, aren't you? Don't you feel ashamed?" He directly pressed his head down. Lin Xia struggled to look up and asked, "Why can't I?" Ryuki started questioning Lin Xia Darius. "Do you remember the guy who does analysis work in the Lydia Guild named Ryuki?" He coldly replied, "Irresponsible. Do you think I care to remember stuff like that? I'm sure I'll never bother remembering someone like you." He immediately asked back, "Even if you're not a gamer anymore?" Hearing that, he widened his eyes in fear and responded, "What do you mean?" Amid the blue sky and white clouds, Ryuki's voice rang out, "Each person only has one account. If you lose this account for any reason, you'll never get another one." Ryuki held him there and continued, "I wonder if my delete skill can really delete account data." He coldly asserted, "You'll never be able to forget me again." Lin Xia, worried and fearful, shouted, "Stop, let me go." Ryuki smiled innocently and began counting down 5 seconds. At the same time, he hurriedly shouted with an extremely urgent tone, "Don't do that!" Every second that passes is enveloped in fear. Lin Xia tried to scream, "Stop!" Lin Xia tried to scream, "Stop!"